How is it going, folks? Welcome to another fun at-home table read. Tonight, we're actually doing one of my favorite, underappreciated superhero movies from 2005, Fantastic Four. I honestly loved this movie for a while. Is it good? But it's fun. And we're going to do a reading for it tonight. We have a fantastic cast with us tonight, so let's jump right into introducing ourselves.
Hello, I'm Mary. I'll be doing action description.
Hello, I'm George. I'll be Reed Richards.
Hello, I'll be Sue Storm.
Who are you?
Sue Storm?
What's your name?
I said Nicole.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you. I'm Logan. I'm going to be Johnny. Storm.
Hi, I'm Anne. I'm going to be Ben Grimm.
And I'm Travis. I'm playing Victor Von Doom.
We're already terrified. All right. Well, Mary, take us away.
Fantastic Four by Mark Frost and Michael France, based on the Marvel comic book by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Fade in. Close on a massive steel head. Our first thought, Dr. Doom? But it's not moving. A welder's torch sparks into frame in the hands of a sculptor on scaffolding. This is art. An epic 20-foot statue going up of a business Mongol, Victor Van Doom, in which generously extended hands sit two intertwined columns of DNA. His face is chiseled, angular, perfect. Too perfect. Past Sparks, we move down to pick up Exterior Street, Von Doom Industries Tower Day. Reed Richards and Ben Grimm head towards soaring glass box atrium of VDI headquarters. Designed to inspire awe, it does.
High open space, exposed structural elements, obviously aimed at first-time visitors to create feelings of smallness, inadequacy.
Ben glances at Reed, who looks a little nervous.
Good thing it ain't working. Hey, Reed, what are we doing here? This guy's fast food strip mall science.
This wasn't our first stop, in case you forgot NASA. And Victor's not that bad. He's just a little larger than life.
Interior Von Doom Industries Tower Day. They move past the statue into a sprawling atrium.
He's financed some of the biggest breakthroughs of this century.
You'd never know it.
He motions to a high-tech orb, showing footage of VDI's accomplishments. A safe and clean nuclear facility, the first private space station. All images have Victor front and center, glad handling George Bush, Tony Blair, shady international leaders. The last image is Victor holding the America's Cup.
Jesus, that too?
They reach three stern receptionists.
Reed Richards and Ben Grimm to see.
A receptionist cuts him off, handing them each a pass.
Executive elevator, top floor.
What's the price for a smile around here?
They head for the elevator. Reed carries a small black box. As they enter the elevator, steel doors shut, and we cut to Interior Von Doom Industries Tower Day, office day. A large, dark office. Ben in the corner. He yawns. Watches. Bright holograms, stars, planets, they hover in the air, making the room feel like a majestic portal into outer space.
My research suggests that exposure to a high-energy cosmic storm born on solar winds might have triggered the evolution of early planetary life.
Reed stands among the holograms, speaking to a mysterious figure in a shadow behind a desk. An ominous, pulsating red cloud covers the stars. It washes over a hologram of Earth.
In 6 weeks, another cloud with the same elemental profile will pass Earth's orbit. A study in space could advance our knowledge about the structure of the human genome and help cure countless diseases, extend human life.
The shadow clears his throat. Reed speeds up, emotional.
Give kids the chance to be stronger, healthier, less prone to...
Turn it off, please.
The figure's deep voice pierces the darkness.
But I haven't fully explained my...
Yes, you have. Imagination, creativity, passion, those were always your trademarks.
Lights brighten, revealing the face behind the voice. Victor Von Doom, 35, handsome, commanding. He looks almost, never mind, airbrushed. They failed at the airbrushing this time. He drops a wired magazine to the desk. Reed is on cover over the words, Richard's bankrupt, grant cutbacks.
But dreams don't pay the bills, do they? Same old Reed, the hopeless optimist, still researching for the stars with the world on your back.
You remember in school we talked about working together. That's what I was about to explain.
Reed presses the remote. Another hologram appears, a shuttle slowly approaching an orbiting space station. Both bear the Von Doom Industries logo. Victor smiles, more intrigued.
So it's not my money you want, it's my toys. Tell me, if NASA doesn't trust you, why should I?
Victor is a step ahead. Reed pauses, thrown for a beat. Ben wakes up, suspicious. Victor notices. He notices everything.
That's my job, to stay a step ahead, to know what other men don't.
Ben gets close to Reed, turning towards the door.
I can't take this.
And this is business, just work.
A beat. Victor cracks a smile, enjoying the tension, and
He's right, Ben.
they turn to see Sue Storm, demure, stunning, standing in the corner, possibly for the whole presentation. A little cold.
It's just business.
Think you both know my director of genetic research, Susan Storm.
Hey, Susie. One more thing he's got.
Sue gracefully walks into the office, only taking her eyes off of Reed to give Ben a warm hug.
Ben, it's been too long.
She gives Reed a polite handshake. Victor watches carefully. Reed looks uncomfortable in her gaze, a little tongue-tied.
How have you been?
Never better.
Victor sizes them up. He puts a hand on Sue's shoulder.
This isn't going to be a problem, is it?
Not at all.
Ancient history.
Victor smiles, eyeing Sue.
Good, then you're just in time to hear the great Reed Richards ask me for help. You know, you made a lot of folks at MIT feel like a junior high science fair, so you'll excuse me if I savor this moment.
Ben tightens. A hard beat. Reed sucks it up.
You back this mission, and I'll sign over a fair percentage of any applications or
The number's 75, and it's applications and patents.
What about his firstborn?
then the money's not important. We could save lives.
Sue gives a thin smile, a flicker of old feelings.
25% of $1 billion is enough to make the lights on, isn't it? And maybe even pay off your fourth mortgage on the Baxter building.
They look at Victor. How does he know all this?
Deal?
Reed looks at Ben, who shakes his head softly no, but Reed drops a nod. Done. Victor smiles, offering a handshake.
Well then, to our future. Together.
Victor squeezes, hard, his other hand on Sue's shoulder.
Funny how things turn out, isn't it?
Hilarious.
As Reed and Sue lock eyes, Ben watches Victor, wary. Interior Victor's office, moments later day. Director of Communications Leonard enters, checking files.
If Reed's right, then this little trip will double our stock offering.
And if he's not?
Reed's always right. Good thing he doesn't always know what he's got.
Interior Von Doom Industries Tower elevator moments later. Reed and Ben step into the elevator.
You about NASA. What if we made the call to shut us down?
Then think about all the people we can help if this works.
Maybe you should think about yourself for once. You always let this guy push you around.
We got what we wanted. That's enough.
I know. I'm just worried about what he wants. Speaking of which,
Reed follows Ben's eyes to Sue. She joins them, doors shut. Interior Von Doom Industries staircase continuous.
You sure about this, Reed?
He nods, head down. He doesn't want eye contact.
Those solar winds are flaring, but I factored them into my coordinates, and
I was talking about us working together.
Sue holds her eyes on Reed. He is clearly uncomfortable in her gaze. Did the elevator just get smaller?
Based on our history, you can handle the biogenetics and I'll focus on the molecular physics, or maybe I should take the biotech, you work the microscope since you have some background in
Right. That's exactly what I meant.
She shakes her head. Same old Reed. He looks at her. What did he say wrong? Ben smiles, patting Reed on the shoulder.
Try to not overthink it. When do we leave?
I'll schedule the launch. Call me in the morning to talk about resources and crew.
She offers a business card. Reed doesn't take it.
I think I remember the number.
It's been changed.
Beat. Ben grimaces. Reed takes the card, his eyes down.
As far as crew, I was hoping Ben could pilot the mission.
Well, he's welcome to ride shotgun, but we already have a pilot on our payroll. You remember my brother, Johnny.
Off Ben's curdling smile, we dissolve to exterior lake launch facility day. A helicopter shot through trees. We soar over timberland and find something massive looming on the horizon. A spacecraft, a sleek take on a space shuttle. Modern tech combined with industrial design that NASA could never afford. The craft's nose is pointed straight up, ready for launch. Workers in jumpsuits are scattered around the 200-foot-tall scaffolding, performing routine checks. Exterior gantry overlook day, Ben stares up at the craft, a sneer on his face.
Do it. I cannot do it.
External SRBs, orbital system engines, it's just like the shuttles you flew in.
No, I cannot take orders from that underwear model. The wingnut washed out of NASA for sneaking two Victoria's Secret wannabes into a flight simulator.
Youthful high spirits.
They walk towards the base of the scaffolding.
They crashed into a wall. A flight simulator.
I'm sure he's matured since then.
Close on Johnny Storm, leaning over to kiss a hot redhead. Pull back to reveal he's riding a motorcycle, and she's driving a red Corvette with a license plate Frankie. Pick up Reed and Ben watching through binoculars.
When have I asked you to do something you absolutely said you could not do?
5 times.
I had it at 4.
This makes 5.
Interior lake launch facility locker room night. Reed and Ben unpack gear into lockers. Suddenly,
Captain on the bridge.
Ben goes to attention and reflex. Johnny snaps a picture with a digital camera, then advances as Ben realizes who it is.
Digital camera, $254. Memory stick, $59. The look on your hard-ass former CO's face when he finds out he's your junior officer, priceless.
Ben eyeballs Johnny, suddenly reaches up as if to grab him. Johnny flinches, but Ben just reaches for Johnny's zipper, adjusts his uniform.
I don't know if I should be flying or playing Vegas in these suits. Who the hell came up with them?
Victor did.
Sue enters wearing her blue wetsuit-like uniform, carrying a stack of flight suits. She hands them out to the guys.
The synthetic acts as a second skin, adapting to your individual needs to...
He keeps the hot stuff hot and the cool stuff cool.
Wow, fantastic.
Reed stares at Sue in the skin-tight outfit. She wonders, maybe hopes. Is he actually checking her out?
Material made from self-regulating unstable molecules. I've been working on a formula for this.
Great minds think alike.
Yes, some think faster than others.
Victor enters wearing his custom-tailored flight suit.
I hired Armani to design the pattern. These colors will look great on camera.
A door opens. Leonard enters in a sharp suit.
They're ready for you, sir.
Showtime.
Exterior lake launch facility halls night. Leonard leads Victor through the halls. Victor checks himself in mirrors as he walks, fixing his hair, his uniform. Leonard?
Now, our numbers are through the roof. The IPO's tracking at 50, 60 a share. The bank's 5 times oversubscribed.
It's not just the money. I could make money in my sleep.
But then what is it?
History, Leonard. History. Everything else is conversation. How's the other matter?
Leonard pulls out a box, opens it, a 10-carat diamond ring.
Harry Winston sends his regards.
They hit a set of big doors. Victor stops and looks into the reflective metallic surface on the wall. He fixes one last strand of hair. Perfect. Then he opens the door to snap, snap, snap. Whip pan, a row of cameras snapping shots of exterior lake launch facility night, retrofitted into a makeshift press area. Victor sits on the platform with reporters stretched out below him.
Today we stand on the edge of a new frontier. In the furthest depths of outer space, we will find the secrets to inner space. The final key to unlocking our genetic code lies in a cosmic storm.
Behind the action, Reed, Sue, Johnny, and Ben walk past. News crews barely notice, passing without even taking a picture. Our Fantastic Four are not exactly big news. Not yet.
He's made a few changes.
Up there.
Victor's better at these things.
Just past the press area, they see one woman standing, waiting. This is Debbie, Ben's fiancée. And for the first time in the entire film, Ben smiles. They hug, kissing. Johnny and Reed watch. Reed glances at Sue, who walks ahead. Debbie slips a photo into Ben's flight suit. A tender beat.
I'll be watching over you.
Just get back soon, or I start looking for a new groom.
Ben looks at the little engagement ring on her finger.
As soon as I'm back, I'm going to trade that for bigger rock.
I don't care about rocks. I care about you. You bring him back in one piece, or you can forget being best man.
Reed nods, smiles. Debbie gives Ben a last kiss. Ben turns to Johnny, who gives a cocky smile.
What the hell are you smiling at? Just keep your mouth shut and your mind on the SMBs.
Actually, the engines are SMEs, hydrogen-based carbon propellant. A couple generations past your last ride. I'm not as dumb as you look.
Ben just glares at Reed. This is going to be a long trip. As they follow after Sue, we cut back to Victor on stage. Mid-speech, playing behind him is Reed's hologram. Stars give way to a pulsating red cloud.
Think of a world without genetic flaws. No asthma, allergies, baldness, breast cancer.
Ben and Reed hear the speech. Ben bristles.
What's wrong with being bald?
Victor smiles at the crowd, commanding, a true leader.
Darwin discovered evolution. Now we, I will define it, only in America could.
The red cloud of cosmic rays wash over the earth.
A little country boy from Latvia.
Latveria.
Oh, I forgot the V. Latveria. Build one of the biggest companies in the world and truly reach the stars. Now, if you'll excuse me, history awaits.
On those words, the hologram transforms to Von Doom's shuttle on the launch pad. Boom! Thrusters fire white hot. Smoke billows across the pad, ready for takeoff. We push in on the shuttle, follow the ship as it leaves Earth's atmosphere. Boom! Booster rockets fall away and the shuttle fires its thrusters. The hologram transitions to a shot of the space station high above the Earth. The shuttle enters from top, lighting up the hologram with engines of fire. As the shuttle approaches the station, we cut to exterior deep space same. The space station in the distance rotating in orbit above Earth. The shuttle eases in and docks. Interior space station, command center same. Victor and Sue lead the others into the command center.
Now, if you behave, maybe next time Daddy will let you drive.
Reed is focused on the Earth.
Long way from projection booth at the Hayden Planetarium, isn't it?
Reed turns towards her, a little stunned that she would bring that up. It's the first time she's been nice to him so far. He smiles gently, hesitantly, always hesitant with Sue.
Yes, it is.
Johnny and Ben exchange a look. Reed keeps looking at the stars, eyes wide like a little kid. Interior space station, command center, observation deck, same. They enter the nerve station of the space station. Victor goes to a computer console on the observation deck below. The windows are closed, but there's nothing to observe.
Leonard, how's the feed?
A recording, sir. We see you perfectly.
Victor glances at a camera mounted on the console.
We can monitor the cloud's approach and observe the test from here.
Is it safe?
The shields on the station should protect us.
Should?
What's wrong, Ben? $80 million worth of equipment not enough for you?
Ben turns to Victor. A little tension. Reed cuts to.
Let's start loading those samples. Get your suit ready, Ben.
Victor keeps his eyes on Ben.
So you still do all the heavy lifting.
Victor gives a friendly smile, patting Reed.
Maybe you should have stayed back in the lab. Fieldwork never suited you.
Reed doesn't defend himself. Ben steps up.
He does the talking, I do the walking. Got it?
Victor holds tight to a smile. He nods, condescending.
Got it. So take a walk, Ben. I'm going to borrow Susan for a second.
Sure.
Ben and Johnny read his eyes. We cut to interior space station airlock later. Ben preps for spacewalk, putting on a helmet and boots. Johnny unloads a set of clear sample boxes off a cart, each containing a variety of plants.
Please tell me your dog's not trying to rekindle things with my sister.
Of course not. Strictly business.
Yeah, well, as I say, different.
Hey, Two Hearts got busted last time. Maybe she's not over it either.
Well, let's see. You got Victor, stud of the year, more coin than God, or Reed, the world's dumbest smart guy worth less than a postage stamp. It's a toss-up.
Put your tiny little mind at ease.
You wander off now, boy.
Johnny steps out of the airlock and shuts the door. He looks through a small window to see Ben gives the thumbs up. The airlock door opens, and Ben gracefully steps into space. Interior space station, observation deck, same time. Sue descends the stairs at Victor's behest, joins him.
Surprised I agreed to Reed's proposal?
I understand the business reasons.
Well, when you're looking at your future, it never hurts to find closure about the past.
Sue's eyes narrow. What is this about?
Susan, every man dreams that he'll meet some woman he can give the world to.
He presses a button and the observation deck's outer windows open up, revealing a spectacular romantic view of the Earth.
In my case, it's not just a metaphor.
While she stares out the window, Victor reaches into a pocket, revealing a ring box. Sue looks unsettled. Interior space station, nearby corridor, same time. Reed checks data on a workstation set on a wall. The results of his calculations are not what he expected. He sees wind velocity, digit rise. He does a double take, then he sees the readout. Event threshold, T-minus 10 minutes.
No, impossible. It's too fast.
Interior space station, observation deck, same time. Behind his back, Victor holds the ring box in hand.
You've been with me 2 years now.
Sue doesn't know where this is going. She treads lightly.
It's been a good 2 years, Victor. The company's accomplished so much.
Right, of course, the company. But you see, I've come to realizing all the accomplishments in the world mean nothing without someone to share them with.
Victor, I hope I haven't done something to make you think.
Sue, I've lived my life unafraid of taking big steps, and this is the biggest step yet. If it helps, think of this as a promotion, a merger of sorts. 4 little words that can change our lives.
He's about to spring the ring on her. She looks like a deer in headlights. She opens her mouth and wham! Doors slam open. Reed rushes into the room.
The cloud is accelerating.
Victor quickly puts the ring back in his pocket.
I don't know what happened.
Sue quickly moves to a nearby control panel to verify Reed's claims, starts punching buttons, confirms Reed's finding with a nod. Victor hardens in control.
We've got minutes until it hits, not hours. Victor, that storm's deadly. The radiation's lethal. We need to abort.
Get a grip, Reed. We didn't come all this way to lose our nerve at the first little glitch. Just close the shields.
Ben's still out there.
So reel him in, but we came here to do a job, so let's do it. Quickly.
Exterior space station moments later, Ben is carefully arranging sample boxes of plants.
Ben, we need you back inside.
Ben turns to see Reed and Johnny staring from a window.
I ain't done arranging your flowers, egghead.
Ben, this is serious. Turn around.
Ben sees Johnny motioning for Ben to look behind him. Ben turns and sees the cosmic storm rumbling towards the station. Not close, but not far. That gets Ben's attention.
Roger that, on my way.
He turns back towards the ship. Behind him, the storm grows. Interior Space Station Command Center, same time. Victor rushes into the room, looks at the monitor, sees the others near the airlock on one screen and the approaching cloud on the other. Anxiety creeps across his face.
Event threshold in 2 minutes.
Interior Space Station airlock door, same time. Reed and Johnny stand by the airlock waiting for Ben. They heard the automated voice. It panics Reed.
Ben, come on.
Reed, we're running out of time.
Exterior outer space moments later, a wake of turbulence from the cloud hits Ben, making it harder to maneuver. The cloud's tendrils snake towards him. Interior Space Station airlock door, same time. They can see Ben outside the window, still 20 yards away. The entire corridor rumbles. Lights flicker and spark. They watch helplessly. Interior Space Station Command Center observation deck, same. Sue watches the monitor, also helpless.
Johnny? Reed?
Victor, annoyed by the indecisiveness, marches right up to Sue, practically shoves her aside and hits the intercom.
Reed, you need to get up here so we can close the shields now.
Sue glares at Victor. His lack of compassion shocks her.
Not until Ben is back inside.
It's too late for him, and soon it'll be too late for all of us.
Victor doesn't bother to wait for a response. He takes over the console, punching keys.
What are you doing?
Raising the shields.
You can't leave them out there.
Sue glares with as much contempt as her face can muster.
Watch me. Reed had his chance. You can't help them any more than I can.
Beat. She takes a step towards the door, not sure what to do.
I can try.
With one final glare, she bolts from the room. Interior Space Station, airlock door, same time. Reed bites his lip. Thinks. He decides.
Victor's right. Johnny, get to the command center. Close the shields.
What about you?
One look from Reed tells Johnny he won't leave without Ben. Johnny eyes Ben, steals his courage. He's not going either.
Come on, big guy. You can do it.
Interior Space Station Command Center day. Victor watches the shield slide down, alone, an island.
Event threshold in 30 seconds.
Interior Space Station corridor, same time. Sue races down the hall, not panicked, with determination. Exterior Space Station airlock day. The exterior airlock doors slide open. In agonizing, weightless slow motion, Ben reaches to haul himself inside. The leading edge of the cloud hits. Ben is pelted by a hissing mass of space dust, splattering his suit with orange stains. Larger particles, small pellets pepper him. Ben hauls himself the last few feet by pulling on his tether. Interior Space Station airlock command center day.
Event threshold in 10 seconds. 10.
Johnny pushes controls to close the exterior airlock door. Reed opens a first aid kit, grabs a thermoelastic blanket. Interior Space Station Command Center observation deck, same. Clutching the diamond ring, Victor stands defiantly, showing absolutely no concern for the others. Interest only in the event itself. Lights and equipment fall, crashing around him. A control panel explodes in Victor's face. He jumps back and into falling equipment, collapses under the weight. Interior Space Station airlock, same time. Sue rounds a corner, sees Reed and Johnny.
Johnny! Reed!
5, 4,
Slow motion. Everyone frozen in position as Johnny is hit with a spark of flame from a control panel. Reed reaches out for Ben in the airlock door. Vapor stream pours down on Sue from a blown gasket. The space dust burns into Ben's skin. Slow motion. Just before the exterior airlock door closes, a single particle zips through the narrowing gap and hits Ben in the back, ripping through his suit. The exterior door shuts and seals. The station loses all power. Darkness. Exterior space station day. As quickly as it came, the cloud passes on and whirls away, leaving the space station intact. Power quietly flickers on. Silence. And time resumes. All four pick up exactly where they left off, unaware of anything that just happened to them. Interior Space Station Command Center day. Victor emerges from the rubble. He stands, checks his body. A few scrapes, nothing serious. A thin, throbbing cut on his head. He touches the wound, but it's not bleeding. Interior Space Station airlock day. Reed and Johnny scramble to open the interior airlock door. Sue joins them as they pull Ben in. They try to remove his helmet. We don't see his face, but he's clearly unconscious.
He's not responsive.
Ben! Ben!
Interior Von Doom compound hospital room day. A black screen.
Ben, wake up. Wake up.
Subjective camera, Ben's point of view. The blurry image of Johnny comes slowly into focus, standing beside a hospital bed.
Where am I?
Back on Earth. Victor's medical facility. We're in quarantine.
Reed? Sue?
They're fine. Everyone else is fine.
Johnny looks away as if he can't bear to lay eyes on him.
What's wrong with me?
Look, I swear to you, they've done everything humanly possible. The best plastic surgeons in the world, Ben. Look, you had the best.
Give me a mirror.
Johnny picks up a hand mirror on the bed table before Ben can reach it, reluctant to give it to him.
They said that's not such a good idea. That the shock alone could.
Give me the goddamn mirror.
Ben grabs it from him, then slowly raises it to look and see that, except for some serious stubble, Ben's totally normal.
Fortunately, the doctors just couldn't do anything to fix your face.
He cackles as he heads for the door. Ben heaves the mirror at him, breaking it into 100 pieces. He turns to the side table and grabs the picture of Debbie and calms him. Exterior Von Doom compound establishing day. A modern facility of glass and stone nestled in the forest, in the stark contrast to the lush greenery surrounding it. Interior Von Doom compound hospital, corridor Sue's room day. Reed walks down the hall. His hair is graying at the temples. He passes Johnny, who is smiling, still enjoying his joke on Ben. Johnny slows, looking at Reed's hair.
Nice do. Going for the grandpa look?
Reed passes a mirror, slowing, seeing his graying hairs. He keeps going. He passes a partially open door. He stops, then catches a glimpse of Sue asleep in bed. He sees a vase of flowers. He grabs a couple lilies and enters. But Reed sees the room is already filled with expensive flowers, all from Victor. Reed is trumped once again. A doctor writes on Sue's chart. A wall TV plays a press conference with Victor outside the facility. He looks worse for wear, a few hairs out of place and a small bandage on his face. We pushed into the press conference. You've been accused in the past of moving science a little too fast.
Accused by who? My competitors? But surely this accident gives you pause. Danger is always part of discovery. What would happen if Ben Franklin never went out in a storm without risk? There's no reward.
So where's the reward? You promised a cure-all.
Victor pauses. For the first time, just a flicker.
And you'll have it. I've never come up short, and I'm not going to start now. So you're still taking VDI public? Yes, of course. I've never been more confident in the company.
Reed mutes the television.
How's she doing?
Stable. Vitals are strong.
Reed takes the clipboard, looks for himself.
Blood panels show no irradiation. Good. You'll step up this protocol every...
4 hours. We know what we are doing. One more day of observation, then you're all cleared.
The doctor takes his clipboard and walks out. Reed steps to Sue with the drooping flowers in his hand, quiet.
So, I want to tell you, I'm
Whoosh. A nurse rolls in with a tray bearing 10 more extravagant bouquets. Reed looks resigned. He walks out.
She's allergic to orchids. Put that Amaryllis apopathos by her bed. The African lilies, they're her favorites.
Reed exits, dropping his 2 wilted lilies into the trash. Sue opens one eye as the big lilies land by the bed. Interior Von Doom compound hospital room day. A sexy nurse wheels a testing station into Johnny's room. He's stripped down to Calvin's, changing into a ski outfit.
Where do we think we're going?
I don't know if we've noticed, but the sickest runs this side of the Alps are right outside this window, and
Notice, but doctor's orders, you're not allowed to leave until we
finish the tests. Look, I know. Could you give me a hand with the zipper?
You know this is not a ski resort.
Not yet.
Johnny opens the cardboard box, revealing a colorful fiberglass object the size of a briefcase. In the blink of an eye, he unfolds it into a long snowboard.
Luckily, Grandma still sends care packages.
The nurse pops the thermometer in his mouth to shut him up.
You are trouble.
What was my middle name?
They both pay more attention to a zipper than the digital readout. It runs right up past 98.6, then accelerates fast.
You're hot.
Well, thank you. So are you.
I mean, you feel a little feverish.
I've never felt better in my life. So, when do you get off work?
My shift ends at 4, but I couldn't.
Then meet me at 4:01, the top of the run. I give you a minute to freshen up.
He hands her the thermometer, a quick kiss, and he's out the door. The machine beeps. Johnny's temperature is 209 degrees. Exterior Von Doom compound hospital patio day. Ben finds Reed on the patio with a panoramic view. Reed works at a laptop computer.
How long was I out?
3 days. I was worried about you. How you feeling?
Solid.
Ben can see Reed doesn't look too solid.
Doing.
Reed shakes his head, looking back at his screen.
I don't know. I just keep going over and over the numbers.
Reed, even you can't compute every little thing.
I should have done more. Run more tests.
Ben gets closer, pushing down Reed's computer screen.
It was a freak of nature. Last I checked, you don't have the crystal ball. Let it go.
Reed considers, but he can't let it go. He opens his computer back up, returning to work. Ben shakes his head, looks out at the view. His eyes catch on something, wheels turning.
You go through something like this, makes you appreciate having the right woman in your life.
Yeah, you and Debbie are perfect.
Reed, I'm not talking about Debbie.
Reed follows
I'm not
Ben's
talking
eyes
about
to a
Debbie.
lower level patio. Sue.
What? Oh, come on. She's got a good thing with Victor.
I'm sorry, did that cosmic bath loosen your screws?
He's smart, powerful, successful.
Maybe you should date him.
Reed looks at Ben, resigned.
Then he'll give her the life she deserves. She ended up with the right guy. Things worked out for the best.
Reed steps away. Ben stands alone, an idea sparking.
Do I have to do everything myself?
Interior helicopter, exterior mountain summit day. The chopper hovers over this pristine peak. Johnny and his nurse sit in the chopper bay, prepping their ski gear. Johnny's customized snowboard, his wild acrylic patterns. His nurse wears a hot pink catsuit, her skis dangling out. Their bodies are close. A sexy, competitive flirtation. They look down at the death-defying black diamond run.
Me likey.
Stay right, the left is trouble.
I thought we went over this.
Last one down springs for room service.
She pulls down her goggles, jumps out. Johnny drops out after her, hitting the snow. He smolders, literally. The snow blanket behind him sizzles and starts to melt. He takes off after her and chases on. Exterior Black Diamond Run day. The nurse knows every inch of the trail, slicing expertly in and out of trees through deeper powder. Johnny's a speed freak, maximizing velocity, closing the gap between them. Ghostly flames shoot off his hair. His ski cap catches fire, flies off. Jets of fire knife through the back of his jacket. The nurse looks back. In a burst of speed, Johnny draws even. She looks over and sees the flames shooting out behind him.
You're on fire!
Not this again.
No, you're on fire!
Johnny sees his gloves are burning, flicks them off in alarm. His body shudders. The back of his ski suit catches on fire, a burst of flame launching him down the slopes like a rocket. Nurse loses concentration, falls. Johnny races away like a missile, screaming in exhilaration. He looks back. No nurse. He tries to put out his flaming clothes and accidentally veers to the left. He fails to notice the giant chasm in front of him. He faces forward and screams. Launching off the cliff, legs flailing, trying to catch ground, flames begin to trail his body. As he falls towards the rock below, he tries to will his body away. Instead, his body becomes engulfed in flame. He is a human torch. And for a moment, he holds the air, the fire giving him some kind of lift. He maneuvers just over the rocks, almost making a 90-degree turn. He looks back at the rocks in disbelief, but the lift doesn't last long. He quickly crashes, landing hard into a snowbank. He opens his eyes, tries to move, but can't. He's trapped under snow and ice. With all his strength, he tries to move. No dice. Panic sets in. His eyes grow wide as the snow around him quickly begins to melt. Johnny is on fire, and within seconds, he's sitting in a small pond, steam rising from the water. The nurse races towards the steam. Scared, panicked, she finds Johnny, smiling, sitting naked in an impromptu hot tub, staring at his hands, his body exhilarated.
Care to join me?
She smiles and unzips. The flames dissolve to candles? In exterior Von Doom compound, Victor's office day. On an expansive parapet with a billion-dollar view, Victor prepares a romantic dinner setting as his staff scurries about. He checks every fork and knife with a slightly manic energy.
How's the IPO?
Stable. We're looking at low 20s. It's a good number, considering the fallout from
Reed's disaster. You know, I half think he did this to me on purpose.
Oh, sir, I'm sure he wouldn't put himself.
But Victor is on to the next thought, always strategizing.
Get me on the AM shows. Larry King, cover of the Journal. I've got to do something about this scar. Make sure they only shoot my right side.
Actually, people seem to think the scar humanizes you.
And that's a good thing?
Victor looks at the scar, enraged by this defect. It glistens in the silver tray. His eyes are bloodshot, sleepless.
You know, maybe you should get some rest.
Later. First, I've got some unfinished business. A deal that needs closing.
Leonard looks at the table and lavish spread, a beat.
Sir, I've always wondered, why Sue? You could have any woman in the world, but...
That's why. Because I could have any other woman. You know, when they asked Caesar, why England? He said, because it's not mine.
Interior Von Doom compound dining hall, late afternoon. 24 employees sit and eat. Others serve themselves at the buffet. Ben and Sue walking into the dining hall.
I can only stay for one drink, Ben. I've got to meet with Victor.
Wouldn't want to keep Vic waiting.
They turn a corner and find Reed entering by another door.
Hey Reed, what are you doing here? Hey, great, why don't you join us?
He quickly shepherds the two of them towards a quiet table. Ben's stomach growls so loud that they all can hear it.
Good, I'm starving. Gonna hit the buffet.
Ben's stomach growls again, even louder this time. Interior Von Doom compound dining hall evening. The sun is long gone, and so are most of the diners. The room is dark, more romantic. Ben finishes the last shrimp on his plate, pushes away, and belches prodigiously.
Pardon me.
Sue and Reed stare at him. Ben's stomach growls again.
Are you all right?
I think I need to lie down. Bad shrimp.
This was Ben's plan, but he really isn't feeling well. Unsteady when he walks away, he looks down at his stomach.
Really bad shrimp.
Angle fireplace. Sue looks gorgeous in the light. A beat. A long beat. Reed doesn't know where to start with this woman.
Feeling better?
Yes, thanks.
That's good. That's good.
You've always had a way with words. I should be getting back.
Sue gets up to leave. Exasperated, Reed tries to think of something, anything to say.
I'm really happy for you and Victor.
She slows down, looking at him. She was hoping for more.
You're happy for me and Victor.
I can tell you guys are enjoying what was the best part of our relationship.
Which was?
Passion.
We see surprise on Sue's face, and
For science.
You are such a dork. Reed, you never got it and you never will unless it's explained to you in quantum physics.
as if triggered by her emotion, the fireplace lights around her bends. The flames flicker in a ghostly breeze.
What? What did I say?
She looks more disappointed than angry.
It's never what you say. It's what you don't say. What you don't do.
She lets that hang. A lot of history here. Quiet, hurt. She wants Reed to fight for her, to show some emotion.
I just wanted to.
As Sue's emotion swirls, she slowly disappears.
It's been 2 years, and all you can say is you're happy for me and some other guy? You know, Victor may be a lot of things, but at least he's not afraid to fight for what he wants. And it's nice to be wanted sometimes. To be heard. Seen. Reed, look at me!
He looks up, but all that's left of her is the blush on her cheek and her bewitching eyes. He drops his fork, shocked.
Sue, I can't.
What? What do you mean, you?
Sue, look at your hands.
She raises her hands, but we don't see them. We only see a medical I'm assuming wristband floating, her watch floating. Her clothes appear to be suspended in midair. Sue is invisible. She shrieks and gets up, knocking a glass off the table. In slow motion, the glass flies off the table, tumbling. Reed instinctively reaches for the bottle. His arm stretches 2 feet out of his sleeve, grabs it just before it hits, then snaps back into place. Reed stares at his arm in disbelief. Sue's eyes widen as well. The rest of Sue reappears. They look at each other. Mutual alarm.
You guys will not believe what just happened.
They look up to see Johnny in the doorway, naked except for the nurse's pink parka wrapped around his midsection. Interior Von Doom compound. Victor's office, early evening. Clunk. The candles burn low on the table. Victor strides out, heading for the door. He runs his hand through his hair to comb some strays. A clump comes off of his fingers. He pauses. He steps to the mirror, stares at his hair, his scar. It is longer than the bandage now, as if it's spread. Victor peels back the bandage and sees the scar is bluish gray, deep, unhealthy, maybe infected. Interior Von Doom compound hallway, early evening. Double doors burst open. Reed, Sue, and Johnny urgently walk.
It has to be the cloud. It's fundamentally altered our DNA.
Let's not jump to conclusions. We need a massive amount of evidence before making that leap.
Reed glances over his shoulders. He stares. Sue follows his gaze to see Johnny's fingertips are on fire. He snaps his fingers. They go out. He's totally unharmed.
You know, what's up with that?
The cloud has fundamentally altered our DNA.
Oh, what'd it do to you guys?
Apparently, I can disappear.
Oh, please tell me you can go silent too.
Only one thing on Reed's mind.
We have to find Ben.
Exterior Von Doom compound outside Ben's room early evening. Johnny snaps his fingers, which generates small explosive bursts of flame. He turns it on and off like the clapper.
Flame on, flame off, flame on, flame off.
Johnny,
He does it again. Flame on, flame off.
stop it.
Hey, Mom.
Reed's about to knock on Ben's door when he hears the banging, moaning, and pleading inside. Johnny smiles.
Oh, you dog, you. That better not be my nurse.
Interior Von Doom compound Ben's room early evening.
Ben, are you there?
A creeping, rippling movement begins beneath the sheet and gradually intensifies, reflected in the fabric surface. The contours of Ben's body are changing, inflating, growing rough and craggy. Sound of grinding heavy rocks.
Open up, Ben. We need to talk.
It all stops. A beat. Then all four legs of the bed give way and it crashes to the floor. Under the covers, he groans in pain and his voice is deeper, gravelly, but definitely clear.
Leave me alone!
Interior Von Doom compound outside Ben's room early morning. Reed decides they can't wait any longer. He kneels to the floor. He concentrates and not sure if will work. Suddenly his arm stretches thin enough to creep under the door jamb. Interior Von Doom compound, Ben's room, early evening. Reed's arm wiggles under the door. It bends upwards, swiping clumsily until it finds and grabs the knob. Rubbery fingers find the latch and unlock the door. Interior Von Doom compound outside Ben's room, early evening. Reed focuses and pulls. His arm snakes out from under the door and snaps back into place, his flesh and bones reforming before their eyes. Johnny stares at Reed.
That's gross.
They hear a tremendous smash from inside the room. Interior Von Doom compound, Ben's room, early evening. They open the door. The room is trashed. Every stick of furniture smashed to splinters.
Ben?
Their eyes adjust. There's a huge hole where the window used to be. They rush to it, looking out to see something large in the distance running away.
What is that thing?
I think that thing is Ben.
Reed looks out, emotions roiling. Is that his best friend? Suddenly, Victor comes around the corner, bandage bigger.
What's going on?
Victor, are you feeling all right?
He considers but never shows weakness. He nods.
Just a little banged up, a couple scrapes. Why?
Ben did this.
Ben did this.
He's had some kind of reaction to exposure from the cloud, and he's not the only one.
We need to find him.
Victor redirects his attention to Sue.
Victor, I'm sorry.
Just find him.
Victor strides off, leaving the others.
Anybody know where the big guy's going?
We push in on a picture of Debbie lying on the floor. Reed knows exactly where Ben is going.
He's going home.
Exterior train yard night. A view from Brooklyn. Manhattan glistens in the distance. Camera moves down to a train yard where he finds empty cargo trains. We push in on the main track where a cargo train has just stopped. We hear a cargo door slide open, then whoomp. Big feet hit the ground. Someone or something barrels into the night. Exterior big and tall shop night. A locked front storefront on Flatbush Avenue. Sounds of breaking glass. Interior big and tall shop night. Series of shots. Ben tries on clothes, shoes, jackets rip, shoes split. He needs an extra large. Exterior payphone night. A huge figure is cuddled in shadow. It's Ben. Close on, the dial pad. Big fingers trying to push keys, but they're too large. Ben tries for a few seconds, getting more and more frustrated. He manages to press 0 with his pinky.
Hello, operator?
Ben looks up the street into the second-story window of a modest working-class home. His eyes go soft when he sees Debbie grab the phone.
Deb, it's me. I need you to step out front.
Out front? You home, baby? I got a surprise for you.
He blinks hard, sad, dark.
I got a surprise for you, too.
Exterior Brooklyn house night. Debbie steps out. There is a welcome home sign over the door. She looks out. The wind blows softly. Something shifts in the darkness. Debbie pulls her robe tighter.
Ben?
Don't come any closer for a sec. This is gonna be kind of a shock. You remember when we said, together forever no matter what?
Baby, you're scaring me.
A hanging beat, and Ben steps into the light where we see him for the first time. He's huge, easily twice the size he once was, and an orangey rock surface covers his entire body. Debbie sees him. Fear washes over her, not sure what to think. He reaches out a little tentative. She flinches back.
Oh my. What did you do to Ben?
Deb, it's me. Still me.
Mm-mm.
He reaches out. She recoils. It's too much for her. Tears swell in her eyes, covering her mouth. She backs away. He takes a step closer. She backs away faster, tripping over her robe, falling into the street. A car screeches to a halt. Ben instinctively steps out to help, but she scurries back.
Don't touch me!
Her shouts wake neighbors. Lights flicker on. Ben knows he has to go. He looks at Debbie, sensing this is the last time he'll see her. She trembles, terrified. His eyes go moist.
I love you, Deb.
With that, he turns away. The welcome home sign flutters, falls to the ground. A tragic tableau. As more lights go on around him, Ben picks up his pace, speeding into the dawn. Interior Victor's compound office day. Victor packs a monogrammed Armani briefcase, VDM, emblazoned on a gold plate. Leonard waits not so patiently.
Make sure you find Ben. Bring him back here and keep it quiet. I don't need this to hit the press.
Yes, sir. You've got the mayor at 8 and then a 9:30 interview with the Journal.
Front page?
Top left, like you asked. Today, Wall Street. Tomorrow, who knows? Maybe Washington.
Victor turns to Leonard, desperate with him, disappointed with him.
Leonard, think bigger.
Exterior Brooklyn Bridge Day. We swoop towards the epic monument. On a steel girder above the road, we see a statue. Ben. He sits on the edge of the beam, staring down at the river below, brooding, muttering.
Few days in space. It'll be great. What's the worst that could happen?
A pigeon flutters past him and droops a white, gooey gift on his shoulder. Ben just stares up at the heavens.
Perfect. Thanks.
He hears the sound of someone sobbing. He turns to see a distraught businessman with a briefcase. The man drops his case, which plummets hundreds of feet into the river. The business looks out, ready to jump. He doesn't see Ben or doesn't realize Ben is not a statue.
You think you got trouble? Take a good look, pal. How bad could it be?
The businessman looks at Ben, terrified. Ben steps forward.
Okay, easy there, buddy.
Backpedaling, the man slips, falling towards the roadway. His arms flail, grabbing a narrow beam. His fingers hold tight while his legs thrash over speeding traffic. Cars and trucks skim right underfoot. Ben shakes his head.
You had to choose my spot, didn't you?
Ben steps out to help, but his weight bends the beam. The businessman loses his grip. He falls to the road, landing hard on the hard way. A few pedestrians see Ben. They point. Ben looks up, deer in headlights. He sees a massive truck bearing down on the businessman.
This is really not my day.
Ben drops to the street. Whoomp. He lands in front of the businessman, sweeps him out of the way with one arm, and turns to the oncoming 18-wheeler cab. The driver slams his brakes, eyes wide. The truck swerves, but can't stop. Time slows to syrup. As Ben looks a little scared, he shuts his eyes and shoulder blocks the incoming truck. A football move. The truck buckles, popping a wheelie, crumpling all the way to the windshield. It looks like a metal car compactor. The truck swerves hard, its tail smashing into steel girders. Cars screech, swerve, slamming into each other, causing a 4-lane traffic accident. Windows shatter, fires flicker. One of the cars in the NYPD cruiser. Cops clamor out. Exterior cab on highway day. Reed, Johnny, and Sue sit in the back. They see the action on the bridge. Reed and Sue lock eyes, sensing the worst. Exterior Brooklyn Bridge day. Ben stands in the middle of the chaos, staring at the destruction. He sees the tow truck driver bleeding, trapped in his cab. Ben moves to this burning hunk of steel. He swipes through the shattered window and punches the airbag, popping it like a kid's balloon. He tries to grab the seatbelt, but his fingers are too big. He struggles.
A little help here. You want to hit that button, sir?
The driver is too woozy. Ben can't get to the button. Frustrated, he simply tears off the door and rips the driver's seat right out of the cab. Cops around the corner. They see Ben holding onto the driver. They raise their guns.
Freeze. Put the man and the seat down.
Ben looks at the cops. Pedestrians stare, point. He realizes how this must look. A monster holding a bloody man in hand. Exterior Brooklyn Bridge approach day. At the back of the traffic jam, cars screech to stops. The whole bridge is full of bumper-to-bumper traffic. We push towards one car. 3 doors pop open, and out come Reed, Johnny, and Sue. They look through smoke and mayhem to see their first full look at Ben. Reed stands gut-punched.
Not even Ben deserves that.
Exterior Brooklyn Bridge day. Ben puts the seat down with the driver on it. He lunges behind a truck. The cops try to follow, but flames push them back. Ben lurches away, head down, self-conscious. He tries to hide from the onlookers around him and the pedestrians on walkways overhead. He wants to escape, but hears screaming motorists. He grits his teeth and moves to help them. Reed, Sue, and Johnny race towards the flames. All other people head in the opposite direction. Bridge police herd the crowd away from the accident.
Back. We're evacuating the bridge.
Reed, Sue, and Johnny slow down, swapping glances.
What now? Reed, what do we do?
Move in on Reed, a first test of leadership, but he is not a leader. Not yet. Sue gets closer to him.
Ben's out there. Let's go get him.
Maybe you didn't hear me. Those cars are going to blow sky high any second.
Look, we've got a friend out there in trouble. We need to get to him before.
Nobody gets past this point.
A hard beat. Reed signals Sue with a look, a nod.
What?
We need to get past them.
He motions to her body. She understands. She concentrates and starts to turn invisible.
The hell is this? A magic show?
But her clothes don't go invisible. Beat. Reed mutters.
Sue, your clothes. Lose them.
What? Oh,
She unbuttons her blouse, not thrilled with the idea. She wriggles out of her pants, down to her skivvies. She reaches back to undo her bra, momentarily loses concentration, and becomes visible. The sight of Sue in her undies grabs the cop's attention. Everyone watches, stunned. The realization that she's visible hits her like a ton of bricks. Cops are transfixed. So is Reed.
This is wrong in so many ways.
Been working out.
Sue takes a deep breath, closes her eyes, focuses, nothing happens. She's embarrassed and furious.
any more ideas, Reed? Maybe you should strip down next. See how it feels to have 50 people staring.
And she disappears entirely. Undies float, jaws drop.
Sue.
She stops ranting, realizing she's gone invisible.
Oh, well then.
The undies drop. The cops stare open-mouthed. They turn to look at Reed, astonished. He sheepishly shrugs his shoulders.
I'm gonna need some serious therapy.
A beat. She walks away. The cops watch her, gaping. By the time they turn back around, Reed and Johnny are gone, disappearing into the cloud of smoke. Exterior Brooklyn Bridge day. A new chopper flies around the bridge, fighting for the best angle in the action. Exterior Brooklyn Bridge accident day. Reed races through wreckage. He tries to see over a big truck and his neck stretches. He finally sees Ben. Reed wraps around a car and boo! His face snakes right in front of Ben. Ben jumps.
What the?
Ben, are you okay?
I'm okay. Am I okay? You want to explain that?
He motions to Reed's neck, then to his own body.
Or this? What the hell am I? Because I sure ain't Ben anymore.
Reed opens his mouth, but he has no answer. Not yet.
Reed! Ben! Look out!
Ben spins, looking for Sue. He can't see her, but he does see a car inches away with gas tank flaming. Boom! The first car blows. Boom, boom, boom. Empty cars blow in a chain reaction. The flames are mushrooming. Reed swipes his arm out, holding people back. His arms flatten to form a barricade, face indent his skin. Flames lash out. The pack of attractive young women scream. Johnny leaps towards them. His feet leave the ground, giving him extra lift. He spins, lands, and embraces the women, shielding them from flames which burn up his back. He looks the ladies up and down and gives a cheesy smile. Sue screams. She puts her hands up, a normal reflex. The air seems to ripple around her hands like a force field. She looks at them, surprised and confused. Her invisible fields spiral out, partially containing the blast. But the flames hurtle closer. She fights the pressure. Blood trickles from her nose just as the white-hot blast is about to hit her. Sue is dressed again, visible. She screams and pushes the force down onto the road. She collapses as the blast deflects off the street and onto an oncoming fire truck. Boom! The fire truck is knocked off the ground, sliding sideways. Brakes scream. Its tail slashes out, punching through the guardrail. The back of the truck dangles out hundreds of feet above the water. Firemen hang off the back and sides. The truck teeters, falling. Ben wastes no time. He grabs into the front of the truck just as it goes off the side. He digs his heels into the ground, but his feet drag across the concrete, digging grooves into the street. On the dangling fire truck, firemen climb out, crawling towards the bridge. Their truck swings. Bits and pieces tumble down at them. A hose, an axe, a helmet, all deadly now. The hanging ladder swoops down and with men rolling on it. Ben screams, straining with all his might. Ben screams. His muscles ripple, and then he takes his first step back. Another scream, another step, another, epic and painful. He's pulling the truck back into the bridge, inch by inch. His footsteps thud. With monumental effort, he levels the truck. Firemen scurry over hoses and ladders, some climbing over Ben. Reed tends to Sue, who has fainted from her effort. Ben steps back from the truck and slumps to the street, exhausted. Wary cops close in to cover him with weapons, but the firemen slowly begin to applaud. The crowd of onlookers join in as well. Sue, Reed, and Johnny seem surprised, touched by the reaction, but Ben seems uncomfortable. Firemen step forward to offer Reed a couple of their coats. He hands one to Johnny and uses the other to cover Sue. Exterior Brooklyn Bridge day. Ben sees a familiar face in the masses. Debbie. Ben steps towards her, but she stops him with a look. She places something on the ground and runs off into the crowd. Ben sees something glistening on the ground. He stoops over to pick up her engagement ring. His big fingers can't grip it. He tries in vain, hopeless, pathetic, a beat, and a tiny hand grabs the ring. It's Reed. Quiet, close.
I swear to you, I will do everything in my power until there is not a breath left in me. You are going to be Ben again.
Off the wounded look in Ben's eyes, wanting to believe him. Interior Victor's office day. Victor sits with the remote in hand, staring at his plasma TV. On the TV, he sees crowds of firemen applauding the new Fantastic Four. For the first time, they strike a heroic pose. Leonard enters with a phone in his hand.
Sir? Larry King called to cancel. Apparently there's a bigger story.
Victor sees Reed put his arms around Sue as he covers her with the jacket, and the penny drops. He's furious. As it hits him, he feels something odd. He looks down at his hand, a glint of gleaming metal poking through flesh. Interior emergency holding area day. An impromptu command center, a series of police trucks surrounded by emergency vehicles, news vans, and fire trucks. Interior emergency holding area tent day. Reed, Sue, Ben, and Johnny sit together getting changed. They get ready to go, but the chief fireman enters, stopping them. There's some folks outside want to talk to you.
We're not going public with this. We're scientists, not celebrities.
Too late, son. He turns on a little TV monitor in the corner. News footage plays on all stations with the tagline, Fantastic Four. That's what they're calling you. The Fantastic Four.
Nice.
Johnny heads for the exit.
Johnny, slow down. Let's think this through. Just a second.
Johnny pauses, rubs his chin once, and
Okay, done thinking.
he runs out. Sue, Ben, and Reed swap glances, knowing Johnny cannot be their spokesman. They take off after him, out to exterior emergency holding area, Pressfield Day. Click, 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 click. 50 cameras flash. The field is full of press. Our heroes freeze, shocked by the crowd. Johnny eats up the attention. Ben turns, self-conscious. Reed notices. The chief fireman turns to them. So which one of you is the leader? Johnny does
me.
not hesitate.
Gotta be me.
No, seriously. A beat. Sue and Ben turn to Reed. The chief hands him a mic. You're on, son. They all want a statement. All eyes go on Reed. He looks out, gulps hard. A long beat.
During our recent mission to the Von Doom space station, we were exposed to as yet unidentified radioactive energy, most likely some kind of nucleotide compound.
Nobody came here for a science class. A crush of questions overwhelms Reed.
What happened on the bridge? Does it hurt to stretch? Were you really on fire? Is it true that one of you can fly?
Oh, yeah, I'm working on it. It's actually a lot harder than you.
We don't know much more than you do at this point, which is why we will be going directly to the lab where we can diagnose our symptoms and...
Symptoms? So it's like a disease?
Reed looks at Ben's face, feeling the guilt. Ben is lost in thought, looking at Deb's engagement ring. Johnny leaps in.
Symptoms? Well, please. Look, if having power is a disease, then yeah, we got it bad. But we're going to blow your minds. There's a new day dawning. The day of the Fantastic Four.
That thing doesn't look too fantastic.
The reporter nods towards Ben. Ben's fists tighten. The sound of rocks crushing together. Reed feels the pain.
Ben Grimm is a genuine American hero who's been through a terrible ordeal.
Look, I think what he's trying to say is every team needs a mascot.
Reporters laugh. Ben turns his head away. Reed burns.
Look, we went up to space to find a way to understand DNA, to cure disease, save lives. Well, now it's our DNA, our disease, our lives on the line. Thank you. No more questions.
Reed, Sue, and Ben get up to go. The press waits a beat, then surges. Ben spins, holding up one finger, a giant.
Sorry. Be nice.
The press steps back, intimidated. Flashbulbs pop and Ben's face freezes. It goes black and white in a New York Post in Exterior Bank Day, establishing shot of a historic New York building. Interior bank, conference room continuous. Bankers sit around a table, laptops hum. The lead banker is power broker Ned Cicil. The men keep their eyes on Victor.
Well, Victor, the bank would like to congratulate you on the fastest free fall since the Depression. We can't even give your stock away.
Ned, you know I can turn this around.
Ned motions to the paper, the picture of Ben.
You promised a cure-all and came back with this. Who the hell is going to invest in a biotech company that turns its workers into circus freaks?
Victor's grip tightens around the table and the laptops flicker, losing feeds. Victor looks down at his hands. A private beat. Did I do that? He lets go of the table. Screens go back to normal.
I really appreciate all your support.
About a week, Victor. 1 week to turn this around, or we pull out. This meeting is over.
Victor looks at him, blood boiling, and we cut hard to Interior Bank hallway day. Victor and Leonard stride out. Victor is writhing.
Goddamn bookkeeper doesn't know preferred stock from livestock.
Leonard is thinking all business.
Sir, Reed's comments at the press conference killed us. How are we going to turn this around?
Victor considers. His mind races, eyes narrow.
Very simple. I cure them. If I can cure these freaks, then I can cure anyone. What better way to restore my reputation?
Leonard nods, impressed. Victor is a man in motion. As they step into the sunlight, we cut to click, 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 click. In exterior Baxter Building day, reporters snap pictures. A police convoy drives up, stopping in front of the towering high-rise. Sue, Reed, and Johnny get out of the police car. Ben steps out of the big paddy wagon, which immediately bounces back to the normal axle position. Cops hold back the surging press. Ben keeps his head down, self-conscious. He passes Johnny, smiling for the cameras.
Hey, smile, Ben. They want to like you. Look, give them your good side or your less bad side.
Ben turns to a group of little kids, stiff, tentative.
Don't do drugs.
The kids flinch. Ben trudges on. Johnny smiles bright, doing hand signs for F4. Sue pulls him towards interior Baxter Building lobby day. The Fantastic Four enter. They're greeted by Jimmy O'Hoolihan, an old-time doorman with a kind smile.
Welcome back to the Baxter, Dr. Richards. All that for you?
He motions to the flashing cameras outside.
I'm afraid so.
He searches for the name. Sue steps up.
Jimmy, good to see you again.
He smiles at Sue, then at Reed.
Good to see you too. Don't worry, sir. I know how crowded that head of yours is. Any visitors while I was away? Just the usual. Told him you were circling around outer space.
He opens a drawer full of letters from the bank. Reed looks sheepish. He shuts the drawer, looks to Johnny and Sue.
We had a tough year.
Sorry, makes me cough a lot. Yeah, 9 years straight.
Reed looks at Ben. Thanks a lot. Ding! Elevator doors open. Interior Baxter Building elevator day. They enter. Reed enters the top button for the 20th floor.
20? From outside, this place looks a lot taller.
Oh, it is.
The doors close, but the elevator does not move. A beat.
Either we're moving really fast or not at all.
A digital readout on the panel exceeds maximum weight. A sign reads, maximum capacity, 2,000 pounds. They turn to Ben.
I'll take the stairs.
Doors open. He lumbers out. As the doors close behind him, he looks back over his shoulder, locking eyes with Reed. Interior Baxter Building elevator day. The elevator rises. Reed rolls with guilt.
How come Ben can't turn it on and off like us?
That's what we're here to find out.
If it happened to him, then it could.
Happen to all of them. Reed nods softly.
Wait, you mean there's a chance we could be full on 24/7 fantastic?
Grow up, Johnny. You want to run around on fire for the rest of your life?
Is that a trick question? Come on. You're the only one who thinks this is cool.
Reed considers, but Sue cuts him short with a look. Ding! The elevator stops. Interior Baxter Building atrium moments later. The elevator opens. They step out. They might be on the 20th floor, but Reed owns the building from here to floor 60. It's a massive atrium lit by skylights far above. Reed leads them into another area filled with separate apartments and all of the amenities of home.
We should stay here until we can define the extent of our changes.
This place is deluxe. You got cable?
And figure out how to reverse them. Let me show you to your rooms.
Exterior Baxter Building day. The press has died down, but there are still plenty of cameras. A Maybach sedan rolls up. Victor emerges wearing sunglasses. This time, the press pay no attention to him. No cameras flash. Victor tightens and enters the building. Interior Sue's room day. Sue walks out of the bathroom in a robe, drying her hair. She notices a familiar book on a shelf, a scrapbook. She flips through it. It's filled with pictures of Reed and his inventions, a lot of less fancy than Victor's multimedia globe. She stops at a picture of her and Reed in college. A noise, and then she turns, flinching slightly, surprised to see Victor. He smiles, standing at the door, watching her.
God, I've been so worried about you.
He notices the scar on his head.
Victor, your scar.
I told you I'm fine. It's you I'm worried about.
I'm sorry I get a chance to.
Please, no apologies. I've arranged for your things to be moved to one of my condos. We'll have round-the-clock care.
He goes to her bag, but she stops him, a half beat.
Thank you. That's generous, but I think I should stay here with my brother. until we get a handle on this.
Victor is not used to being rebuffed. He gives a thin smile.
So I think you should let my doctors have a look at you.
A tense beat standoff made more tense by.
Victor, what are you doing here?
They turn to see Reed approaching with files in hand.
I'm starting to wonder the same thing. How much do you know about what happened to you?
Not much. We need to run tests to see the extent of the damage.
Victor pauses. He looks at Sue, knowing she's here to stay.
Well, let me know if there's anything I can do. We're all in this together now.
Victor shakes Reed's hand. His grip is so tight that Reed's fingers stretch. Victor lets go and turns to Sue, who puts her hand out. He smiles and shakes. He heads off. Reed looks at his hand, shakes his wrist. He looks at Victor. Interior Baxter Building Hall day. Victor moves fast, hold tight to his anger. Reed catches up.
Victor, wait. I just wanted to say I'm sorry the mission didn't go as planned.
Victor suddenly wheels on Reed. Lights flicker.
Didn't go as planned. It was catastrophic. You ruined the lives of 4 people.
I ruined? With all due respect, I told you to abort.
Abort? Reed, I put my company, my name, billions of dollars on the line, and I will not let you make me look like a fool.
Victor, if we could understand what happened to us.
I don't want to understand it. This isn't one of your science projects. I just want to fix it. Fast.
Reed sees Victor's scar maybe glowing. Lights dim. I think this
There a
is Ben.
problem, Vic?
They turn to see Ben down the hall, leaning on a doorway. Victor tightens. Look at Ben's massive rock-hewn body.
No problem, Ben.
He turns back to Reed. Close, quiet, lights flicker.
Just pay your goddamn electric bill and get to work on a cure.
Victor steps away towards the elevator. He passes Ben, who just smiles and waves goodbye. Before Victor's fingers taps the down button, the buttons light up as if the circuit responded to him. Reed exhales, shaken. Victor steps into interior Baxter Building elevator day. The doors close, and Victor really lets loose. He slams his fist into a steel wall. The wall buckles, steel denting. Victor shakes his hand and sees a rippling metallic shell under his skin. He stares at it in horror, the dark surface pulsating with electrical energy. What is he becoming? Interior Baxter Building Labs day. Sue works the controls. Reed approaches Ben with an electrode needle. He tries to stick the needle into Ben, but it snaps.
Got a chisel around here?
If we're going to identify the source of the mutation, we need to isolate your recombinant DNA so we can activate positional genomes.
Ben looks to Sue for translation.
We need to give you a physical so we know what got zapped.
Well, why didn't you say so? You want me to lift some weights or something?
Reed shakes his head. He approaches with an X-ray machine.
No, just sit back. We have a good sense of your strength from the fire truck. We need to find the source of your strength.
He turns on the X-ray machine. The graph shows a solid rock. The rays don't penetrate. Sue and Reed look confused.
How bad is it? You know I used to smoke.
Reed grabs a blood pressure machine, but the strap is way too short to wrap around Ben's arm. Reed stands stumped. He looks at his tray full of instruments. He picks up the little rubber reflex hammer, but it looks minuscule compared to Ben. Reed has an idea. He opens a drawer full of hardware tools. He pulls out a real hammer. He approaches Ben.
Okay, this might smart a little.
He taps Ben's knees lightly, and Ben's leg kicks, slamming up right between Reed's legs. The ultimate kick in the crotch. Reed stretches up a few feet, then snaps back, wincing.
We'll continue this later.
Interior Baxter Building Labs day. From their second-level control room, Reed and Sue observe Johnny in an enclosed fireproof chamber. Flames escape through the vents of the chamber. He's fully torched. Reed watches the readout. It climbs from 2,000 to 4,000 degrees Kelvin. They're essentially taking his temperature. Inside the chamber, Johnny turns white hot, blinding to look at. The chamber walls begin to glow. Machines go haywire. His feet even start to lift off the ground, levitating a foot or two. He looks down, excited, burning hotter and hotter.
Back it down, Johnny.
I can go hotter.
He won't stop. Reed pulls a switch from the wall. Foam sprays out of nozzles, dousing Johnny's flames. He stands there, covered in thick
Oh.
foam. His body steams. So does his temper.
Oh, you're really cramping my style here.
You're muted.
Muted, Sue.
I'm also invisible. You're at 4,000 Kelvin. Any hotter, you're approaching supernova.
Sweet.
That's the temperature of the sun.
Not only could you kill yourself, but you could set fire to Earth's atmosphere and destroy all human life as we know it.
Gotcha. Okay, supernova. Bad.
Reed looks at the control panels.
He cooked the equipment.
Frustrated, Reed looks at the smoking system. And we do cut to interior Baxter Building lab day. Reed and Ben sit in chairs facing each other. A beat passes. Ben taps his finger on the chair, making small dents. Reed looks down at his clipboard, a little awkward.
Okay, I've got some questions from Sue that she thought might be better coming from me. Can you, go to the bathroom like normal?
Yeah. You don't want to know the details.
Then I'm afraid I've got to ask.
Not unless you want that clipboard stretched up your...
Okay, we'll skip that question.
Interior Baxter Building lab day. Reed and Johnny now. Johnny exercises. Reed stands nearby, clipboard in hand.
Is there something about flames, about flaming that you...
What are you trying to say? Well, just because I dress well and I like to dance.
What? No, I'm trying to figure out why we each ended up with different symptoms.
Oh, that's easy. I'm hot. You're a little limp. Sue's easy to see through, and Ben's always been a hard ass. Why aren't you writing this down?
Reed sighs. It's going to be a long process. Interior Baxter Building lab day. Reed and Sue, tables turned. Reed observes her through a prismatic device measuring light refraction. He sees her through the device, lit up like some heavenly creature. He's having a hard time concentrating. He focuses on his work.
It's not invisibility per se. You're bending the light around you with some kind of malleable force field. That's what you projected on the bridge.
What about you? You haven't eaten in days. How come you're never off this side of the microscope?
He tightens, uncomfortable with being center of attention. She reaches for his arm like a specimen. He pulls away, but she sees a glimpse of bruises on his arm. She slows down.
Bruises? From the bridge?
He nods, rolls down his sleeve.
Have you had any side effects from your powers?
She considers, a little vulnerable.
I've had some headaches. Migraines.
A beat. Reed drops his eyes, making a note, back to work.
You should be able to bend light around other objects, even people, if you could control your emotional state better.
Excuse me?
She is annoyed. Reed is oblivious.
I'm saying if you had a little more self-control, you could locate the trigger. Can you remember the exact emotions when...
Anger? Rage? Frustration?
Okay. Is there any way to duplicate that feeling? Some memory or...
I'm sure I can come up with something.
She looks at Reed, eyes narrow. She becomes invisible. As she focuses on Reed and gets angry, a small, clear force field forms around her body. The force field bends light around a microscope, which goes invisible. Reed steps out to ask.
How's that coming? Whoa.
The force field shoots in all directions, knocking everything over in a 15-foot radius. Reed is thrown from his chair.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. You must think that was some kind of latent hostility or...
What in the world would give me that idea?
An awkward beat.
I mean, you broke up with me, right?
Are you kidding?
No, I distinctly remember you walked out my door, ergo.
She didn't want to get into this. She looks down, vulnerable.
Reed, I was ready for the next step. You weren't. Ergo, I walked.
I think it was a little more complicated than...
I just wanted to share an apartment. What was so complicated about that?
The question stumps him. A beat, he struggles.
There were a lot of variables to consider.
No, there weren't. There was you and me. No variables, no math. It was actually the simplest thing in the world, but your head got in the way, like it always does.
Her words penetrate. He knows she's right. He looks away.
Sue, I thought,
Same old Reed. Too much thinking.
He opens his mouth, but wham! Doors open. Johnny enters wearing a charred shirt. He points to the burned scraps of his shirt.
Okay, guys, we have a serious problem.
Interior Baxter Lab's day. Angles of Reed in the lab, grabbing their space uniforms from various closets and containers.
our uniforms were exposed to the storm like us, so they can transform like us, becoming invisible, changing size on demand, or remaining impervious to flame.
Reveals Reed, Sue, and Johnny step out to look at themselves in a mirror wearing the uniforms. No boots, no gloves, not yet. The uniforms will develop like our heroes.
You look like an 80s rock band.
The suit will stretch. You should try it.
I wouldn't be caught dead in that.
He's right. These costumes it's missing something. I can't put my finger on it.
They're not costumes.
We're not taking them out. Johnny, we need to stay here until we've stabilized.
Johnny shakes his head, frustrated.
Get sick of being trapped here. NASA wasn't even this strict.
He marches out. Sue turns to Reed, who says nothing. Sue heads out, leaving Ben and Reed. A beat. Ben looks at Reed.
Maybe it's missing a utility belt.
Off Reed's dark look, we hear.
So what's the prognosis?
Interior Von Doom Industries Victor's office day. Close on an x-ray. Victor's arm. The metallic transformation is higher now. Pullback to reveal Victor and his doctor. In the wall behind him, an ancient armor. We may notice it before, maybe not. It adds a little menace to the room.
Your tissue, your organs, your entire biophysical structure is changing. Every system is still functioning. Somehow.
And they're changing into
I don't really know. A compound or organic metallic alloy. Stronger than titanium or carbon steel, harder than diamonds.
like the shields Reed said would protect us. How long?
At this rate, the infection should be complete in 2, maybe 3 weeks.
What do you mean complete?
I wish I could tell you. I can't pretend to know what we're dealing with here. I'll notify the CDC and
Victor hardens, razor sharp.
What?
the Center for Disease Control. If this thing is contagious,
Victor
Oh.
grabs the doctor by the throat.
Look at me. I have a life. I'm the face of $1 billion company. We need to keep this confidential, understand?
Victor's grip tightens around the man's throat.
disease is aggressive, degenerative.
That's terrible news.
With one cobra swift new, Victor thrusts his metallic arm into the doctor, killing him instantly. Victor retracts his arm and looks at it, shocked by his own strength.
But I think I'll get a second opinion.
Interior Baxter Building, Reed's office night. A series of time-lapse shots. Reed works around the Baxter Building, spending hours searching for the cure. He checks charts, writes equations, paces, and frustrated. Finally, he sits at his long desk looking at a wall where Ben's charts are projected, both Ben and Thing's anatomies. Reed wears the uniform under his lab coat. He checks his equations over and over, making notes upon notes.
Nothing.
He hits the end of the slides. The wall fills with white light. Frustrated, Reed slams his head into the desk. Crash! Something falls off the end of the desk. Reed raises his head, revealing his flattened face. He steps over to see a plant sample from space. Glass box shattered, red sparks swirling around the plant, like the cosmic storm.
Of course, the cloud.
The cosmic storm swirls, terrifying. We slowly pull back to interior Baxter Building main lab night. The storm is a computer image on screen now. Behind the screen are 6 chalkboards full of Reed's calculations and the scribbling beginnings of a machine. We pull back to see his arm stretched across the room, writing on the other end of another chalkboard. He's moving fast, excited, almost a little manic. He hears a creak. He slows down but doesn't look up to see Sue enter.
What are you doing?
The plants from space, their particles are still charged. With the right amount of energy, these ions could create the elemental profile of the cosmic storm.
He rifles through a desk drawer, then heads out. Sue stands there looking at the storm, concerned. Then we cut to interior Baxter Building hallway night. Sue follows Reed. He flips through a file, excited.
If we can build a machine to recreate the storm, we can reverse the polarity,
And reverse the mutations.
curing countless diseases, not just ours.
She looks at him.
But we're the focus, right, Reed? Reed,
Of course, of course.
and you're sure you can control this thing? Last time didn't work out so well.
With the right energy, we can stabilize the storm, maybe tie into the city grid.
He keeps his head down, making notes, entering. Interior Baxter Building storeroom night. Reed and Sue enter. Reed is looking for something. Sue slows down, staring at the sprawling space, jam-packed with gear, gadgets, blueprints, inventions, awe-inspiring, overflowing.
You really need to get a janitor.
She stares at shelves upon shelves of overcrowded clutter.
This must be what it looks like inside your head.
Reed finds his electron microscope. He turns to Sue, defensive.
There's a system to it.
He starts to pull out a model of the fantasy car.
Wait, so don't touch that.
The little car sets the whole shelf off balance. A wave of inventions come clattering down. Reed moves fast. He lunges towards Sue, stretching his arm around the shelf, pushing Sue away just as the inventions smash to the ground. Reed and Sue hit the floor. A close call. Now more closeness. Sue and Reed lay face to face with Reed's wrapped around her. A heated beat. Their first real intimate moment.
Sorry, my fault. I won't touch anything.
As if suddenly made aware of their vulnerability, Sue and Reed stand back, backing off. As part, we see Ben watching from the doorway, melancholy. He disappears. We slowly move to a surveillance camera on a vent grate. Interior Victor's office night. Victor watches a bank of video screens. He has the Baxter Building under surveillance. He sees Reed and Sue on the monitors. He toys with Sue's diamond ring in his gloved hand. A door opens. Leonard enters. He sees the screens.
Is Reed any closer to a cure?
Victor looks at the image of Reed and Sue on the screen.
The only thing he's closer to is Sue.
But Victor sees something between Reed and Sue on the wall. He leans closer and the camera zooms in as if responding to his will. He zooms all the way to the close-up of Reed's blueprints for the transformation chamber. Victor's eyes narrow, mind ticking, a plan forming.
Make me a reservation for 2 at Caprine tonight.
Brianna.
Victor opens a drawer, pulls out an old videotape.
And get this to Ben Grimm.
Victor leans forward, fixed on that machine. As he gets closer, his screens go staticky. He's absent-mindedly picks at his scar. In shadows, we see skin peeling off.
Close your eyes, baby. Keep them closed.
Interior Baxter Building media room night. Ben Grimm stands front and center, not the Thing, but Ben Grimm, a normal man. He smiles wide, shaking his head.
You surprised?
Now we pull back to reveal Debbie and Ben on a screen. The Thing watches the old videotape. He smiles sadly at his old life. He mouths the words. He knows this tape by heart.
Yeah, surprised. Surprised the fire department didn't shut this down.
On screen, the handheld camera whips around, revealing a surprise party full of people. Ben Grimm is a popular guy. On screen, Reed hugs Ben. They pose for pictures together.
God, I was good looking.
We hear the party sing Happy Birthday. Debbie kisses Ben. Thing's eyes start to mist. On screen, Ben blows out candles.
What'd you wish for, honey?
I already got it. Everything I want.
As they kiss, a tear runs down Thing's cheek. The tape ends and he sits in darkness for a beat, a long, lonely beat. Interior Baxter Building Hall's night, Ben stalks the hall, slipping into his ragged trench coat. As he passes a crossroads, he sees a strange sight. Reed's hand is tied to a latch on the wall. His arm is stretched thin, spanning around the corner. Ben just shakes his head, keeps moving, and we follow Reed's arm. Up the hall, round a corner, down another hall. The muscles and tissues stretch, going taut. Finally, we reach Reed. He steps slowly. He holds a digital tape measure in his other hand, measuring distance. His skin stretches. His face tightens, pained. We hear the faint squeak of his skin.
Damn, Stretch!
Reed turns his head around, seeing Johnny come down the hall.
How far's that rubber band?
Reed keeps moving slowly, his muscles and tendons laboring.
That's what I'm trying to calculate. And it's not rubber, it's muscle, tendon. I seem to have the ability to manipulate the malleability of my molecular structure and redistribute my density to...
Right, whatever, have fun.
And Johnny is gone, ducking under Reed's arm. Into Interior Baxter Building kitchen night. Johnny opens a cupboard, pulls out some Jiffy Pop. It starts to pop in his hand, the bag swelling. He casually turns on a TV, flipping to the X Games. The Jiffy Pop swells, ready to blow. He rips it open, eats popcorn, and watches the games. Cool stunts, hot girls. Johnny's brow furrows, a thought forming, a mischievous smile on his lips. Exterior Baxter Building side exit night. A figure exits, wearing that ragged trench coat and fedora. Ben disappears into the dark night, and we cut to exterior Brooklyn Street night. Dark, lights flicker, steam rises through the grates. A shadow emerges. Ben. He heads towards O'Donnell's Pub, a classic Brooklyn tavern. Neon sign, music life inside. Ben pulls at his hat low, turns up his collar, and squeezes through the door into Interior O'Donnell's Pub night. A big photo of Ben Grimm in his astronaut heyday occupies a place over the bar. Ben enters and the bar goes silent. He moves through the crowd. People clear out of the way. Ben reaches the bar. He sits on a stool and crunch, smash. The stool snaps like a toothpick. He hits the ground hard. Glasses shake. A few patrons smile, laugh softly.
That's not funny!
They go silent. They drop bills onto the tables, filing out, scared of this monster. Ernie works the bar.
Hey, that's Ben Grimm there, the first mook from Brooklyn to go to outer space, so pay him some respect.
But the patrons keep filing out. Ben looks down, weary.
Ernie, sorry for killing your business. I'll take the usual, then I'm out. Better make it a double.
Ernie heads for the booze. Ben gives a sad shake of his head. Then he notices one lone patron at the end of the bar, a beautiful young woman nursing a drink. Meet Alicia Masters.
See you around, Benny.
What?
Benny?
Who killed the party?
Yeah, I mean, who killed the party?
She turns to him, unafraid. He notices her blank stare, lack of focus, and white cane. Alicia is blind.
Make it a triple. On the house, Benny.
Ben takes his drink, but smash! His grip shatters the glass, spilling all over himself. He smiles ruefully.
There's a god she hates me.
He grabs a bar rag to dry off.
I don't think she's real big on hate.
You wouldn't say that if you could see me.
She knocks back her drink, grabs her cane, and steps towards Ben.
Can I see you?
Ben doesn't say anything, a little unnerved by this woman.
It's okay, I won't bite. Not that I could.
She puts a hand on his face. Something in her tone and gentle touch allows Ben to let her. She smiles softly.
Such a sad face. You know, sometimes being different isn't a bad thing.
Go away, stupid chat. Trust me, this ain't one of those times.
She smiles softly, taking her cane, and starts to head out.
See you around, Benny.
Right as she hits the door over her shoulder.
I'm Alicia, by the way.
Ben watches her disappear. He sees a few people staring. He lowers his head, turns back to the bar, and finds a new drink in a steel martini shaker. He knocks it back. Exterior, interior, upscale restaurant night. Lights twinkle. A maitre d' leads us up through fancy digs. Heads turn, whispers flutter. Sue steps out, joining Victor at a prime table. He pulls out her chair wearing gloves.
Thank you for coming out to see me.
She nods, a little self-conscious.
You said it was urgent.
It is. There's something we need to talk about, something I need to ask you.
Sue senses that where this is going, and she cuts it short.
Victor, wait, slow down for a second. I want you to know I appreciate everything you've done for me, but I just don't.
Susan, what are you doing?
He's cold as ice, as if he's hurt. He'll never show it.
You think I brought you here to talk about us? Please, this is business. I need to know how close is redefining to a cure.
She pauses, then.
He's working round the clock, but the data needs to be tested, analyzed before.
Same old Reed, all analysts, no action. Wasn't that the problem with you two?
She holds tight, keeping cool.
If these molecules aren't stable, they could make us worse. Maybe even kill us.
Then why is Reed dragging his feet? Maybe he likes having his prize specimen under glass. It's ironic, isn't it? You're finally the perfect woman for him. Because you're in his science project.
The words sting. Sue can't help but hear some truth in them.
Please don't make this personal.
Oh, I think you already have.
Victor, we can't do anything until the research is ready.
Victor's fist clenches. Metal. Special effects.
We? Huh?
Victor screeches his chair back, pushing the table so hard that he spills water. Heads turn, all eyes on Sue. Victor gets close to her, too close, a hand on her shoulder.
Don't forget who you work for, Susan. So get to work and do your job.
He walks out. As he goes, he slips the engagement ring out of his pocket. He crushes the diamond to dust, leaves the dust in the ashtray, and disappears into the night. Sue sits embarrassed. She slowly disappears. People gasp. She walks out invisible, save for her clothes, which drift through the air, at a table full of businessmen.
I wish my wife would disappear.
The other men laugh, but the man's wine spills into his lap. Sue walks out. The restaurant is left buzzing. Lights twinkle and we fade out. A beat, then we crash into exterior New York City arena, ESPN Moto X Games Day. The X Games in full effect, a maze of mountainous dirt hills and ramps where motorbikes launch into the air to perform in the air to the delight of 20,000 fans. The riders spin and flip, performing aerial acrobatics in their 250cc motorbikes.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest for you, Johnny Storm of the Fantastic Four.
Johnny emerges wearing his blue uniform, waving to the crowd. He steps up to the pit where riders prep. He beelines to Ronnie Renner.
Hey, Ronnie Renner, I'm a big fan.
Ronnie gives a tight nod. He doesn't like being upstaged by this circus freak. The other bikes approach.
Hey, heard you like to ride. Want to take her for a spin?
He motions to his bike. Johnny eyes this mean machine. Come on, bro. I'll teach you some tricks if you can keep up. We push in on Johnny, his ego getting stoked as we cut to interior New York City arena track day. Ronnie jams down the track, kicking dirt back at Johnny. Johnny now wears a motocross outfit over his uniform with the number 004 on the back and a small 4 over his heart. Ronnie hits the first hill and catches air flipping high.
A rock solid double flip.
The crowd goes wild. Now it's Johnny's turn. He hits the hill and pushes the exact same move with even more height.
Look at that lift, ladies and gentlemen.
Johnny sticks the landing. The crowd swells. Ronnie tightens, pulls his throttle harder, making the next jump and making an insane move, corkscrewing in the air.
Front side 360. He's totally flat and wiped.
Whipped.
Whipped.
He lands clean. The crowd is ready to explode. Johnny revs his engine, his body starting to steam, adrenaline burning. He hits the hill and pulls an even gnarlier spin.
Whoa, that's what is that? 720?
Johnny lands. The crowd roars. Ronnie bears down on the last hill. He leans over his handlebars.
He's going for a kiss of death.
Ronnie hits the hill, pulls the jaw-dropping, death-defying stunt. The crowd is deafening. Ronnie smiles, and Johnny speeds faster, faster. Trails of flames start to streak off his back. He races like a rocket up the hill, launching to impossible heights, spinning like atop a flaming blur. And now for the really impressive part. Johnny's bike starts to drop, but Johnny keeps rising. His flames on, spiraling upward. For a few seconds, he actually is almost flying.
Is he flying?
A beat, time suspended, and whoom. He plummets back down, lands on his bike in midair, and sticks a perfect landing, maybe even kicking a little dirt up at Ronnie. Johnny swerves to stop with a holy shit look on his face. What the hell just happened?
Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. You've just got to see the first torch flight, the McTorch.
A new name is born. The crowd goes berserk, standing ovation. Riders rush up to Johnny. Kenny sees his bike. The seat melted, wheels burned off. Johnny smiles.
My bad. Sorry about that. Oh, thanks for the lesson, bro.
Hot girls swarm. As Johnny gets swallowed by fans, we see a scary thing flicker in his eyes, the birth of a star. Interior Baxter Building kitchen morning. Sue stands alone, sifting through piles of mail. She focuses on one piece of mail that she's holding. Her hands begin to disappear, and then the envelope slowly begins to disappear as well. Sue smiles at the success. Intrigued, quiet.
That's new.
Reed enters, overworked, unshaved. He keeps his head down, preoccupied. Sue shifts focus.
Have you read these? From all over. People want us to fight crimes, save their kids, solve their problems. And we can't even solve our own.
She puts the letters down, stepping closer to Reed.
Reed, how close are we to a cure?
No way to know. Without more tests, experiments.
She considers. Victor's words echo in her head.
We're not specimens. We're patients. This isn't just another science project to you, is it?
Reed looks up a little surprised. He opens his mouth, but...
No frickin' way.
Interior Baxter Building media room day. Crash, bang. Ben stalks around the room furious. Reed and Sue rush in.
Ben, what's going on?
Ben points to the wall-sized TV, the ESPN Moto X games.
So what can you tell us about the outfit?
Reveal Johnny standing next to an X Games reporter. He's peeling off the burned remains of his motocross outfit, revealing his Fantastic Four uniform with the 4 stitched onto the chest. Behind them, step-up riders launch their motorbikes off huge 18-foot high mountains of dirt, 30 feet into the air.
Not too much, but I will say that it's all weather and no leather. Kind of Armani meets astronaut.
Ben, Sue, and Reed stare at the wall-sized TV, mouths agape.
He didn't.
Oh, he did.
What did he do to the uniform?
She turns to Reed, who gives a sheepish shrug and peels back his lab coat, revealing a 4 stitched onto his chest, too.
He talked me into it.
So what are your superhero names?
Well, I go by the Human Torch. Ladies call me Torch.
What about the rest of the team?
Johnny hasn't really thought about them. He spitballs.
We call my sister the Invisible Girl.
Girl.
That's easy to remember. And Reed Richards, he's the leader. So what's he, Mr. Fantastic?
Well, I wouldn't say he's the leader.
Reed shrugs. He doesn't hate the name. You're muted. Ben.
Yeah, could be worse.
Case in point, a photo of Ben fills the TV.
What about this one? What do you call the thing? This thing?
John smiles, looking right into the camera.
Well, that's it. Just the Thing. We would have gone with The Rock, but it was taken. And Thing pretty much sums it up.
A laugh from the studio audience.
I'm gonna kill him now.
He turns to go. Reed wraps an arm around Ben.
And slow down a second and
He sees a photo of himself on screen.
Is it true what they say that he can expand any part of his anatomy?
Actually, between us, I think he's got some problems staying rigid.
wait for me.
Which may explain why this woman's not smiling.
They put up a shot of Susan.
I'm driving.
Dude, that's my sister.
Exterior New York City Arena day. The Thing rounds the corner, seeing a crowd of girls lined up near a red Porsche parked out front with torched on the plates. Ben slows down, smiles. Exterior New York City Arena a little later. Johnny and the hot babe exit, signing autographs for girls in the line. Sue and Reed approach, glare like angry parents. Johnny finds the valet, who looks ill. His car is gone.
Where's my ride?
The valet blows his whistle, and a 4x4 solid cube of red junk metal slides down the street and stops at the curb in front of Johnny. The valet timidly holds out the keys.
Wait, is that my...
Before he can finish, Johnny gets pelted in the head with the license plate. It rattles to the ground face up. Johnny rubs the sting out of his head, looks up, and sees Ben in the distance dusting off his hands.
Oh, you're gonna pay for that, Pebbles. What?
You gave us names? What are you? The face of the Fantastic Four now?
Ben marches up, hands balled into fists.
It's about to be a broken face.
This isn't permanent, Johnny. We need to be careful until we're normal again.
What if some of us don't want to be normal again? We didn't all turn into monsters like...
Ben reels back a fist the size of an anvil, stops himself. Instead of attacking, he starts to walk off. Johnny hurls a fireball that smacks Ben in the back of the head. Ben stops, turns around more shocked than hurt.
Did you just?
Ben gets hit with another fireball, then this time in the face.
Okay, that's it, Tinkerbell. You want to fly? Fly!
Ben charges like a bull, fist cocked back, and Reed steps in the way. Too late. Wham! Ben's fist punches into Reed's chest, which indents. Reed back expands with Ben's fist, punching into Johnny, launching Johnny off his feet. Bam! Johnny slams into a moving advertising truck with a Burger King Fling Broil Whopper on the side. Whoosh! He leaves a flaming imprint on the all-beef patty. The crowd stands stunned. So do Reed and Sue. Cameras pop. Johnny slowly pulls himself up, the paint on the truck beginning to bubble around his hand. Beaten and bruised, he stands, heating up. Both of his hands are now flaming fists of fury.
Let's see if we can get blood from a stone.
He and Ben lock eyes with a block of sidewalk between them. High noon. They start to run towards each other. When they're almost within range, Sue steps between them, stops them both in their tracks with just a look, like a mom.
You two need a timeout.
Fucking started it!
Ben just stalks off. The crowd cheers, scared. A paparazzi snaps a picture. Ben grabs his camera and flicks the lens. Exterior street day. Sue looks at Johnny, more disappointed than angry.
Damn it, Johnny.
She goes after Ben, leaving Reed and Johnny on the sidewalk.
You need to control yourself and think before you
Act. Like, here we go again. Reed, what if we got these gifts for a reason? What if we have some, like calling?
higher calling, like getting girls and making money.
Johnny nods, totally missing the sarcasm.
Is there any higher?
Reed looks at him, disgusted. Johnny waves to the crowd, hand flaming. People shriek, snap pictures. Johnny smiles at Reed.
This is who we are, Reed. Accept it. Better yet, enjoy it.
Johnny steps into the sea of fans. Reed stands alone. Exterior street alley day. Sue wades through the throng of New Yorkers, tries to catch up with Ben, whose presence parts the crowd like Moses.
Ben, slow down.
Ben glances sideways at her, doesn't stop. She catches up.
He didn't mean it. You know, Johnny, he's always been a hothead.
It's not him. It's them. I can't live like this.
Just give Reed a little more time. You know how he works, analyzing every little step before he takes one.
It's easy for you to be patient.
No, it's not. I thought I was done waiting for Reed. We're all in this together now, Ben.
He slows down, getting closer, intense.
Together? Look at me, Susie. You got no idea what I'd get to be invisible. Your nightmare is my dream.
She opens her mouth but has no response. She doesn't know his depth of pain. As he disappears into the alley we cut to, Interior Investment Bank conference room day. The news plays on the TV. Head banker Cecil freezes the screen on the image of the thing. He turns to Victor, who sits with the rest of the bankers' cold, sterile environment.
This is how you turn things around? These freaks are on the front page and your company's in the obituaries.
Victor has a large band-aid on his face now.
I have a plan to use their publicity for...
Victor, stop. The bank's lost enough already. This isn't a negotiation. It's notification. We're pulling out.
A cold, silent beat. Victor leans forward.
You need to look long-term here without risk. There's no...
Reward. We all know the sales pitch, Vic, and frankly, we're done buying. Gentlemen?
He motions to his men. They all stand. Victor is the lone man sitting. Push in on Victor's face, his inner rage palpable. A few quick surges of electricity emanate from his body. This man is getting stronger and more electric. Interior Bank underground parking garage day, after hours. The floor is slick with water, puddles in every direction. Ned Cecil comes out of the elevator heading for his car. He goes. The structure lights start to flicker. Ned looks up, watches the lights go out one by one, furthest to closest. He looks around, unnerved by the darkness.
Hello?
A hanging beat. Victor steps out from the shadows.
Oh, Von Doom. Gave me a little shock. No hard feelings, right? Nothing personal.
Victor says nothing. Ned keeps going.
You know, you could always move back to Latvera and start fresh.
He mispronounces Latveria, dripping condescension.
Maybe that's where you belong, back in the old country.
That does it. A surge of electricity courses through Victor. His eyes narrow and the electricity crackles down his leg to the ground. The electric spark hits the water and electric currents race across the ground, slithering lightning fast across the water like deadly electric snakes, heading straight for Ned. His eyes go wide and Ned is electrocuted. His body spasms. Thud. He slumps dead, smoke rising from his body. Victor stands, power swelling. For the first time, his scar splits open, revealing a metal glow beneath his skin. He remains scary calm.
Announced. Latveria. This meeting's over, Ned.
Victor walks away, the final lights going to darkness. Interior Victor's office day. Victor enters, still adrenalized. He turns to the light switch and the lights come on. He approaches his screens and the monitors flicker to life. His powers are growing. One monitor rolls to the news, images of the Fantastic Four. Victor leans closer and the volume automatically goes up.
The Fantastic Four put on quite a show last night. They landed in every major headline in the Northern Hemisphere. In related news,
An image of Victor on screen.
reports have surfaced that Von Doom Industries may be filing for bankruptcy. You may remember that it was Victor Von Doom.
Victor turns away from the screen. The volume goes down. He focuses eyes on Reed. Leonard enters, stepping closer, seeing the faint flicker of Victor's metallic scar. His eyes narrow, concerned.
Sir, is everything okay? What happened to your...
Victor keeps his eyes on the screen, totally engrossed.
What I'm about to say now is Reed, he got what he wanted. Everything he wanted, he took from me.
He leans ever closer, so the static starts to swallow Reed, a hard, deadly beat. Victor's eyes narrow, zooming into Reed's research, slides on the wall. He zooms into key words, danger, unstable ions, mutation, overload, and Victor gives a slow, thin smile, a new plan forming.
Now I'm going to take it back, piece by bloody piece.
His fist clenches. We hear metallic side effects, or special effects. Interior Baxter Building, Transformation Lab Day. Reed enters the room carrying a stack of boxes that no normal man could balance, but he is not normal. His arms are wrapped around the boxes 5 times over like human twine. He stops short and drops the boxes when he sees Victor overseeing a group of technicians. They are boxing up Reed's work, all of his equipment, research. Victor wears a bandage covering his scar. Reed eyes a glint of metal.
Victor, are you okay?
Victor turns away.
Don't worry about me. Worry about yourself.
Reed looks around, seeing his lab turned inside out.
What are you doing here?
What I should have done a long time ago. Applications and patents, Reed. This all belongs to me.
Reed reaches out, grabbing a folder from a box.
But I'm not done with the machine.
Which is precisely the point. Analysis is over. It's time for action. My men could have produced this by now.
Reed shakes his head, defending himself.
Mass-produced? This isn't a toaster. You have no idea how it works.
Victor pulls the folder from Reed's hand and whips out the intricate diagram of the machine. He points to parts.
Recreate the storm. Invert the polarity here. Reverse the mutation there. Don't talk to me like I'm some schoolboy. I've got the PhD you do. Yeah.
Reed is a little surprised that Victor is so familiar with this machine. He points to a secure camera on the blueprint.
The storm needs to be handled exactly right, or it could make our mutations worse, much worse, maybe even kill us.
Victor slows. Is Reed getting to him or giving him ideas?
Victor, please. We need time to verify the data. We can't afford any mistakes. There's only enough ions for 2 or 3 attempts.
Victor considers. He seems to enjoy watching Reed dangle.
Reed, I'm not asking permission. We'll build it while you check the specs.
Victor walks out. Reed looks unsure as we cut to Interior Baxter Building Transformation Lab Day. The shields slowly rise. 5 technicians go to work. They wear the VDI jackets. Reed watches, worried. Sue enters. She sees the shields, the technicians, the VDI logo, and she's deeply worried. She steps over to Reed. Sparks fly behind him. Drills scream.
Can I talk to you?
Interior Baxter Building Reed's office day. Sue steps into the office, followed by Reed. Quiet, urgent.
Don't let Victor push you into making a mistake.
He was going to take away all my data equipment.
Better than your life. Victor's not the one who has to get into that thing. We are.
Reed starts to snap, losing his studied cool.
Which is why I'm working 20 hours a day, checking every variable.
Every variable but yourself. You don't eat, sleep. You can't live in your head like...
I'm not the only one in there. I got you, Vic, Ben, Johnny, all rattling around in there.
Sue stands there, shocked by his outburst, a beat.
So clear it out. Get it out of your head. Get out of here.
He looks at her, knowing what she means, where she means. Exterior Brooklyn Street's day. Ben nearly knocks people over as he stomps down the street, mind tossing and turning. People stare and point. A little girl and a friend run up to him.
Mister, please help me. My kitty is stuck in a tree.
She gestures to a tree next to Ben and looks up.
Please.
Ben
Save
rolls.
her, Lucy.
Ben rolls his eyes, looks up, considers climbing the tree, but thinks better of it. He has another idea. Ben grabs the tree with one hand and starts shaking the crap out of it. The cat falls into frame. At the last instant, Ben sticks out his hand and the cat lands safely in his palm. He hands the cat to the girl, barely acknowledges her profuse thanks. He just moves on. Exterior, another Brooklyn Street night. Ben passes a window in a gallery and almost misses a large sculpture of his bust. He stops, steps back to take a look. It's exquisitely rendered, capturing not just his brute physicality, but the haunting anguish in his eyes. Ben is amazed and touched, but...
Eyebrows are a little big.
A beat. He stares at these images of himself.
How'd you know it was me? Wait.
I figured the only way to get you here was to stick that in the window.
He turns to see Alicia in the doorway.
How'd you know it was me?
I'm blind, not deaf. Want to come in?
He steps towards her, but he sees a party in the back part of the gallery. Ben pauses, a little insecure.
I'm not really dressed for a party.
Relax, it's casual. Casual.
I'm sorry. What is it?
Casual.
No, I mean, I'm a little dusty.
She smiles, a thought forming as we cut to interior galley studio night. Whoosh! A sculptor's hose sprays a thin stream of water at Ben. Alicia cleans Ben with her hands using thin carving chisels for his cracks. Intricate, intimate work. Ben enjoys every moment. He eyes a couple large puppets in the corner.
That was yours too?
My stepdad's. I'm strictly into stone. I was wondering when you'd walk by.
You know, you could have run an ad in the personals.
Central blind chick seeks 3-ton rock hard He-Man for deep spiritual relationship.
That ain't permanent. My friend Reed's working on a cure. I think.
She gets closer, running her hands across his arm.
Benny, you feel pretty good as is.
Ben bristles. He doesn't want to stay this way.
Stop licking my toe. You know, you don't know what it's like out there. Walking around like some kind of circus freak. People staring, whispering.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
I mean,
Tell me, when you grew up in Brooklyn, how many astronauts did you know? You went your own way then. You didn't listen to people, so why start now?
As he ponders that, we hear a crowd swelling on the cut-to exterior street night. Fans swarm Johnny. He signs autograph, poses for pictures, then his eyes move to an incredibly long stretch limo. A tinted window rolls down. Victor's face emerges.
Need a ride, Johnny?
Interior limo night. Johnny climbs in, sees 3 impossibly gorgeous models.
A few fans, hope you don't mind.
Gotta take care of the fans, right?
He smiles, sitting down in the middle of them.
Look, I built my business knowing what people want, and right now the people want you.
Johnny eyes the models, all lusting.
We don't want to let the people down now, do we?
No, we don't, which is why we need to strike while the iron's hot. I'm talking action figures, video games, sponsors.
Video games, you serious?
Victor nods, knowing he has Johnny on the hook.
You talked to Reed and Sue about this.
Johnny, let's be honest here. Ben, Reed, Sue, good people all, but stars? I don't want to break up the band, but you're the one they want. Don't you think it's time to go solo?
Victor subtly nods to the models. They envelop Johnny.
Take the car for a spin. Think about it. Is this the life you want? Or would you rather live in Reed's lab?
The car stops. Victor gets out. He stands on the pavement. As he shuts the door, we see the women climbing onto Johnny. The door shuts and the windows all suddenly steam up. Interior Hayden planetarium night. The stars on the ceiling. A voice drones about the galaxy. In the last row, we find Reed and Sue. Reed is thinking about work.
I could get Ben to tap into the Baxter's main power to generate enough voltage.
Reed. Shh. Just be quiet and look up.
He slowly looks up. The stars seem to calm him.
Remember our first date here? God, I was so nervous.
You were?
Of course I was. I read all your papers on bioethics, some of them 2 times, just so I'd have something to say to you.
Reed smiles softly, thinking back.
You know, I bribed the projectionist $10 to keep it open late.
I gave him 20.
They laugh. Sue looks up at the stars, quiet.
I didn't want that night to end.
Reed looks at her and wrestles with a decision, then quietly.
Sue, you were right. It wasn't complicated. I just wasn't ready to become, you can be a little intimidating.
She knows. He trails off. Sue looks at him.
You always talked about how you liked the kind of man who could approach you, speak his mind, one who wasn't afraid to tell you what he wanted.
I did, Reed, but I wanted you to be that man.
Someone shushes them. They slump down further, closer.
When I walked out, I waited 10 minutes outside your door. 10, waiting for you to come and find me.
Why didn't you say something?
That would have kind of defeated the purpose. And Reed, I'm saying it now.
Their eyes lock, a heated beat. No more secrets. Their faces are close. A kiss is coming. Closer and closer. And Sue disappears.
Come find me.
Reed tentatively leans into the kiss and
That's my nose, genius. These are my lips.
Reed's face is squeezed on both sides of Sue's invisible hands. She pulls him into a kiss. Lips touch, soft, tender, stars twinkle, and we slowly dissolve to exterior Kirby Gallery night. Ben and Alicia step out together. The crowd quiets and turns. A few whispers flutter. Alicia leans close to Ben and slips her arm into his. The party goes back to normal.
Look around. I'll get us drinks. They always let blind girls cut the line.
She walks off. He watches her go. The way her hair moves, the lines of her neck, the light on her skin. This woman is the most beautiful thing Ben has ever seen. He's falling hard. Ben steps through the crowd. The swanky guests give strained smiles but polite. Ben is starting to feel comfortable here. He keeps his eyes on Alicia, who talks to guests. Ben hangs back, happy to watch her. A few patrons pass him, thinking he's just an inanimate statue.
I don't know about this one. It lacks a certain realism.
Ben keeps his eyes on Alicia. He overhears two Bohemian girls who assume he's a statue.
She's always had a thing for runaways and strays, but this is ridiculous.
I know. Did she really think these sculptures would sell?
Like anybody would want this thing in their house. That girl's a one-woman charity.
Ben just stands there, frozen. His eyes dart around the room, paranoid now, aware of people staring and laughing. He glances at Alicia, who giggles at something else. 10 seconds ago, this would have been dreamy. Now it's damning. We stay with Alicia, who cuts through the crowd, emerging where she left Ben. She has a pitcher of wine in hand for him, but Ben is gone. She looks disappointed, hearing his heavy footsteps get softer and softer in the distance. Thunder booms on the cut to interior diner night, a pit stop in Queens. Heavy rain swims down windows. Ben sits at the counter with his hat pulled low, coat tight. Nobody sits within 4 chairs of him. He sips coffee in a metal bowl. A long beat. Then
This seat taken?
Ben turns to see Victor.
What are you doing here?
I'm worried about you.
Well, me. How sweet.
Come on, let me buy you something to eat. Looks like you could use the company.
Ben considers a man deeply alone. A beat. Interior diner later, Victor and Ben sit in a window booth. A waitress sets a foot-high stack of pancakes in front of Ben, removes a huge plate he's just cleared. Victor's aware of the other customers in the diner staring at Ben. Ben burps. It rattles the plate.
Excuse me.
I know it can't be easy. Life hasn't changed that much for Reed, Sue, and Johnny. At least they can go out in public. But for you, people staring, whispering behind your back.
If you're trying to cheer me up, you're doing a hell of a job.
I'm just saying, I know that it's like to lose something you love. See it slip away, you know it's never coming back.
The thing shoves a huge piece of pie in his mouth.
Reed's gonna fix me up.
For your sake, I hope you're right. I'm sorry if that sounds a little skeptical.
Excuse me. Skeptical.
Ben doesn't trust him, but Victor is hitting pressure points.
Look, he's a brilliant man. We should trust he's working as hard as he can. You're his best friend, so what possible reason could he have for taking his time? I mean, other than getting close to Sue.
Off the thing, a seed of doubt has been planted. He can't help but find truth in the words. And we cut to interior Baxter building, transformation lab night. Reed and Sue return, laughing quietly, bodies close. Reed turns on the lights, and they all flinch when they see Ben. He sits waiting, scowling. Then they stop laughing immediately.
Yeah, I have that effect on people.
The construction of the transformation chamber is complete. The technicians are gone now.
Ben,
Oh, you remember my name, do you? Do you happen to remember what you swore to do with every breath in your body?
we're working as hard as we can.
Yeah, I could tell. Victor was right.
He motions to Reed and Sue together.
Come on, this is nothing.
Sue looks a little hurt.
Glad nothing could take you away from your work.
Then I don't know if this thing will change us back or make us worse. I need you to be patient for a little while longer.
He pokes his finger into Reed's chest, which indents around it like a Pillsbury Doughboy. Ben pushes Reed back hard.
Look at me, Reed! Look at me!
He grabs Reed's face, his fingers indenting the skin. He throws Reed back. Reed slams down to the ground.
I am looking. That's why I can't make a mistake. I've got to get it right, and it's not right yet. We need to test this.
Ben shakes his head, looking down at Reed.
I spent my whole life protecting you. From the schoolyard to the stars. For what? So you could play Twister with your girlfriend while I'm the freak of the week?
Reed tries to stand, but Ben knocks him back. Reed slams into the wall and stays down this time.
Ben, stop it, or I'll stop it.
She starts to raise her hands to throw force fields.
Stay out of this, Susie.
As Ben turns to her, Reed takes the opportunity to wrap Ben up like a python. They struggle. Ben runs back to the wall to shake Reed. Their faces are close and heated.
Good thing you're flexible enough to watch your own back, 'cause you're on your own now.
Ben seems to relax and Reed lets go. Ben walks out. Sue comes to Reed's side. He's bleeding.
I'm okay. Just go after him. Stop him.
She heads out. Reed slowly stands. He looks at the transformation machine. It's not ready, but Reed steps towards it. As he walks, his image goes grainy in. Interior Victor's office night. Victor gets closer to the screens, watching Reed's every step. This is what Victor has been waiting for. His screens flicker with static. He's too close, but he can't pull back. He sees Reed turn on the machine, hits a countdown, and then he grabs his uniform. Interior Baxter Building hallway night. Sue hustles down the long hall. Ben turns a corner, passing the elevators, heading towards a freight elevator. She gets there too late. Doors close, going down. Interior Baxter Building ground floor night. Ben pounds across the lobby. He sees Johnny coming in.
Christmas come early. Check it out.
He holds up an action figure of Ben, a horribly bloated body topped by a tiny pinhead. Johnny pushes a button and...
It's clobbering time!
With one arm, Ben shoves Johnny into a wall. With the other hand, Ben grabs the toy and smashes it into the wall, inches from Johnny's head. The toy lodges into the plaster.
Hey, that was a prototype.
Go back to the drawing board.
He strides away. Interior Baxter Building, ground floor night. Ding! Sue speeds out of the elevator. No sign of Ben. She runs into Johnny, who shakes off the encounter.
Johnny, did you see Ben?
Yeah, for the last time, I hope. Look, I'm done with this freak show. I'm moving back to the real world.
Is that what you call it? Real?
At least it beats living in a lab like somebody's science experiment.
This hits home. Sue is quiet. Johnny turns to go.
Johnny, slow down. Think. You know Mom didn't raise us to...
Look around, sis. She's not here. You can stop talking to me like I'm your little boy.
As soon as you stop acting like one. Come on, you're smarter than this. You think those people out there care about you? You're just a fad to them.
He pulls away from her, taking a step out the door.
Let's try something new. You live your life, and I'll live mine. And just for the record, they love me.
He strides in the night, leaving Sue alone. A dark night. The Fantastic Four is no more. The family is split apart. Interior Baxter Building Transformation Lab night. The transformation chamber is up and running. Numbers count down. The storm swirls in the chamber. Reed now wears the uniform. He opens the door. He's going to use it on himself. He's finally taking action. Interior Victor's office night. Victor sits enthralled. He leans forward, breathless. Interior Baxter Building Transformation Lab night. Reed gets closer. His heart races. So does Victor's. A moment of truth for both of them. Reed steps into the machine. Reed looks up at the cosmic storm. He opens his arms, ready to risk his life, and whoom, he jolts in jump cut motion, reconfiguring, jerking out of control, and we cut to Victor's office night. His screens go black. He looks out the window to see a flash atop the Baxter building. The tip of the Baxter glows. The rest of its lights go out, flickering in a power surge. Interior Baxter building, ground floor night. Lights go haywire. Sue knows immediately.
Oh God, Reed.
Interior Baxter building, transformation lab night. Lights flicker in the darkness. The door rips open. Sue lunges inside. She sees through the smoke and sparks. Reed sways in the chamber. A beat. Did it work? Then Reed slumps to the ground. His eyes flutter back. Dead? His body is warped, twisted. One half remains tense, hard, while the other half is loose, soft, and almost melted.
What did you do, Reed? What did you do?
Interior Victor's office night. Victor watches every second on his monitors. Interior Baxter building, transformation lab night. Sue struggles to lift Reed. Half of his body is stretched out, devoid of any semblance of bone structure. One side of his face looks like it's melting off.
I can make it work.
Reed, stop. You need to rest your...
Power. I need more power to control the storm.
You need a doctor.
Reed loses consciousness. Sue carries him out. Interior Victor's office night. Victor watches, his eyes narrow, looking at his hands.
More power?
He reaches out for his phone, and his speakerphone automatically turns on. His power is growing.
Leonard, bring me our lab rat.
Exterior, under the Brooklyn Bridge night. Ben sits alone, looking at the city lights. A man without a home, without a family. A hard beat. Headlights slash across Ben. He slowly turns, blinded in the lights of a limo.
Ben, they need you back at the Baxter building. It's Reed.
Ben considers, despite it all, he's a good friend and a good man. As he gets into the car, we hear throbbing music in interior Manhattan nightclub night, loud music and pulsating lights. A young crowd dances and grinds to the beat. Among the colorful lights, streaks of flame swirl along the ceiling. We follow them to a balcony where we see Johnny sitting in a cozy VIP section. He's surrounded by groupies, climbing over each other to get a look at his various parlor tricks. He leans closer to a young woman. Closer. Candles around them start to melt. Beads of sweat drip down her face.
What do you say we get out of here?
She pauses, and a very large man steps up.
This your boyfriend?
The boyfriend doesn't look too happy. Is that all you do? Bar tricks and stealing chicks? Johnny does one more trick, taps the guy's drink, igniting it into a burst of flame. The boyfriend drops the glass, which smashes to the ground and catches the floor on fire. The boyfriend quickly moves in and stamps it out.
What are you doing? You could have burned somebody.
The boyfriend takes his girlfriend's hand and they start to walk off. She turns back for one last comment.
You know, if I had your power, I'd be doing something with it, not wasting my time doing cheap bar tricks. Hitting on some other guy's girl.
Johnny looks a little embarrassed. The couple leaves. Johnny glances around. His fans look down, away. He sees how quickly they can turn. The crowd parts slightly. He looks very alone. Interior transformation chamber night. Leonard leans the thing inside. The ominous chamber sits with its door open. Victor enters from the control station.
Ben, come in.
What's this? Where's Reed?
Where do you think? With Sue.
Ben looks at the flickering lights, suspicious. Victor turns to Leonard, who looks a little scared by this dark room.
I'll take it from here, Leonard.
Leonard nods, all too eager to get the hell out of here.
Yes, sir.
Leonard disappears fast as Victor turns back to Ben.
Sorry, what do you want, Vic?
To help you, I've run every test known to man, and they all yield the same result. The machine is ready.
Ben shakes his head, wanting to believe, but...
Reed said it'll be weeks till.
He also said we'd avoid that storm in space, and we know how that turned out.
Ben nods. Reed was wrong before. Ben gets closer to the machine, drawn to it. He wants to believe so badly.
You couldn't generate enough power for the machine to reach critical mass. Yet another mistake for Mr. Fantastic.
And you can power it up.
Victor stands in the shadows, but we see the tiniest little spark around him, the lights or his skin.
Yes, I found a new energy source.
He keeps his arms behind his back, his fingertips coarse with electricity. He starts to build, sparking up his arms.
Tell me, do you want to be Ben Grimm again?
Ben keeps his eyes on the machine. His dream is alive.
Let's do it.
Interior transformation chamber night. The chamber doors open. Thing enters. He looks around this sterile box, an animal in a cage. Victor pushes a control. The doors of the chamber slowly close and seal. Thing shuts his eyes. He just wants to be Ben again. From the controls, Victor initiates the transformation sequence. As lights go on inside the chamber, they dim in the lab. Energy pumps into the chamber. The storm swirls faster. Lights flicker, and there's not enough power until Victor walks over, grabs hold of the machine with both hands, and boom! A countdown begins in the control panels. Slow move in on the chamber. The things faced in the window. The chamber activates. The storm strikes hard. The thing opens his mouth, a beat, then he screams in agony, struggling violently again inside. To escape, extend the moment, condensation obscures the chamber windows. The thing vanishes. Exterior Manhattan skyline night. The city lights fill the sky and give it a quiet, eerie glow. Suddenly, a bright flash emerges from the window of the Baxter building. The rest of the city lights dim slightly. Interior Baxter building living quarters nights. Reed lies in bed, weak, recuperating. When the power surges, we move in on him. He looks up in alarm, knowing that someone's using the chamber. He starts to get out of bed, straining to stand with every muscle left in his body. Interior Baxter building, medical supply room, same time. Sue sifts through a cabinet full of medications. The lights dim, power failure. She looks up. Exterior club night. Johnny walks alone. A wave of light spreads through the sky. He looks up. His eyes adjust to the blast as he realizes where it's coming from. He starts running towards the Baxter. Interior Baxter building, reversion lab. Inside the machine, the red cloud swirls with debris, crackling with light. The chamber rattles dangerously as the power seems to shake the very foundation of the building. And then it's over. The light dies down. Somewhat. It still pulses along with the chamber. The chamber door slides open. Beat. And Ben Grimm steps out. Not the thing. No more rocks. Ben Grimm. Naked, tired, but finally a normal man. He slips on his trench coat, now way too large. He collapses. He stares at his hands, his arms. It worked.
Oh my god. Thank you. Thank you, Vic?
Ben sees a spark in the shadows. That spark is Victor's arm. Victor steps forward, revealing himself to Ben. Electricity pumps through his body. His skin is part flesh, part metal. Cheekbone exposed, steel tissue. He is Doom.
Vic, what the?
Everyone thought I was safe behind those shields.
Victor, the machine worked for me. It can work for you.
It did, Ben. It worked perfectly.
Ben starts to realize.
You planned this?
Doom smiles, reaches out his hand. Electricity builds from his shoulders, coursing down his arms to his fingertips.
I've always wanted power. Now I've got an unlimited supply.
And no thing to stand in your way.
Doom smiles, nods, stronger than Ben now.
Take a good look, Ben. This is what a man looks like who embraces his destiny.
Doom clenches his fists and blasts Ben, sending him flying backwards across the room, knocked unconscious.
1 down, 3 to go.
Suddenly, whoosh, the lab door flies open. Reed enters. Doom steps back into the shadows.
Right on cue.
Reed's eyes go wide. He sees Ben crumpled in the corner.
Oh God, Ben, are you okay? You did it. You really did it.
No, Reed. I did.
Reed slowly turns to see Doom, his body and his face.
Victor, what happened to you? What did you do to your...
Exactly what I said I would. I built a better, stronger being and outsmarted the great Reed Richards.
Victor, this isn't the way to...
You always know best, so tell me what happens when you superheat rubber.
Doom blasts an electrical bolt at Reed, knocking Reed through the huge window. Reed's body rubber bands from the blast. Exterior Baxter Building night, Reed slinkies down the face of the building, skin rippling. Interior Baxter Building reversion lab night, Doom looks out the window, smiling at his old friend's fall. Interior Baxter Building front lobby night. Ding! The elevator opens. Doom strides out. He passes our friend O'Houlihan, who looks scared.
Mr. Von Doom, are you okay?
Doom casually swipes, sending him through revolving doors.
Never better, Jimmy, and it's Dr. Doom now.
Exterior Baxter Building night, Reed melts down the side of the awning like a Salvador Dali watch. He tries to grab hold of a window ledge, but he can't get a grip. His arm stretches and snap! He falls like a slinky out of control, half his body loose, half hard. He drips to the sidewalk where Doom steps out. He catches Reed's face and holds it close.
Why the long face?
Doom whips Reed into the night. As Doom turns, people cower, horrified by his face. They clear out, and Doom sees his reflection in the window. Scarred skin, metallic veins, a monster. Infuriated, he scatters the window with his iron fist and bounds into the night. Interior Baxter Building later night, smoke billows, windows are shattered. Sue races inside, seeing Doom's devastation. Silence. Deadly silence. Then she sees a pile of wreckage shift. Ben crawls out.
Ben?
She helps him out of the rubble. He is beaten and battered.
Sue!
Johnny comes running in. He sees the wreckage.
I am so sorry, sis, for leaving you guys.
No, I'm sorry for pushing you out.
He nods, a beat between them. He looks around to see Ben.
Jesus, Ben. Go away. Look what happens. Got a lot of explaining to do.
He motions to the wreckage.
The machine works. Vic's gonna Mr. Hyde on us.
Really? With a name like Von Doom? I never saw that coming.
Sue looks around. Only one question, dead serious.
Where is Reed?
Victor must have taken him.
Interior Von Doom conference room night. Doom sits at the head of the table in an eerie parallel to the opening scene. These mysterious crates loom in the shadows. He wears a green hood and a metal mask over his scarred face. Doom's eyes turn towards the other end of the table.
Chemistry 101, Part 2. What happens to rubber when it's super cooled?
We now see what he sees. Reed sits in a chair with tubes injected into his skin, freezing him solid. Ultra-cold vapors coat him. Doom steps closer, a sadistic smile. Reed tries to move, but can't even ball his hand into a fist.
Allow me.
He presses down on one of Reed's fingers, which makes a horrific cracking sound. Reed's face twists with pain.
Painful?
Doom seems to enjoy every crack. He leans closer.
You don't know the meaning of the word.
Doom lets up on Reed and reaches into a crate and pulls out a military-issue rocket launcher. He aims at the city skyline, locking onto his target, Johnny Storm.
But you will.
Johnny's heat signature glows. The screen flashes, target acquired. Doom looks back at Reed, his launcher aimed casually over his shoulder.
Flame off.
Boom! He fires without looking. A missile blasts into the sky. The missile lights up the dark night, beginning its wide turn towards the target. Interior Baxter building. Johnny, Ben, and Sue hear the missile being fired and turn to the window. It banks, coming straight for them. They move to exterior Baxter building balcony night. Johnny rushes towards the edge to get a good look at the missile streaking closer. As he moves, the missile shifts slightly with his motion. His eyes narrow, thinking. He flames on a hand. He waves his flaming hand and the missile locks onto the fire. Johnny darkens, realizing.
Great. Heat seeker.
His mind races. He makes a decision and steps up onto the ledge, hundreds of feet above the street.
What has he done to you?
Sis, let me
Wait.
take care of you for once.
Where am I? What are you doing?
Look, sis, just let me take care of you for once.
But Johnny, you can't fly.
Johnny considers a half beat. He looks out under breath.
This will be one hell of a base jump.
Sue reaches out to stop him, but Johnny dives heroically off the edge. He flames on, the missile following his arc. As he drops, his clothes burn off, revealing his uniform.
Come on, come on, come on.
He falls lower, lower, and then he banks, swoops up, flying.
Flame on!
Sue watches with fear and a hint of pride.
We need to help Reed.
Sue shakes her head, sympathetic.
Ben, you got what we all wanted. You need to stay here. It's too dangerous.
She heads off. Ben watches her go, helpless. Interior Baxter building, reversion lab night. Ben steps back into this ravaged room. Through the shattered window, he sees Johnny's flame streaking away, a hard beat.
What? What have I done?
Exterior New York night. Johnny zigs and zags, but the missile takes every twist and turn, gaining on him, bearing down. Cars slow, stop. More people look up, scared, pointing at this stunning sight. Interior Von Doom conference room night. Eerily silent. Reed tries to move, but he is frozen. He hears a footstep, but the room is empty. No sign of Doom, even. A beat. He hears a creak. Another creak. Closer. And a freezing tube starts to shift. It goes taut, clearly being manipulated by a hand. An invisible hand. Sue appears next to Reed, tube in hand. She tries to stay calm.
What has he done to you?
Reed's eyes shift to see Doom emerge from the darkness.
How romantic.
Victor, please.
It's Dr. Doom to you.
He steps closer. Electrodes course over his metal skin.
We know the machine works. It worked on Ben. It'll work on you. We can turn you back.
Do you really think fate turned us into gods so we could refuse these gifts?
She hardens. A little force field starts to emanate from her.
Victor, you always thought you were a god.
Doom has a hand behind his back, generating an energy blast.
Sue, please, let's not fight.
No, Victor. Let's.
She hurls a force field at him. It connects, knocking him back a half step, but he simply shakes it off and steps up, too powerful. He smiles. His arms crackle with electricity.
Susan, you're fired.
Boom! He fires an electrical shockwave that launches her back. She spirals through the air, crashing into the wall, thudding to the floor. As Doom stalks closer, Sue gathers her strength to go invisible.
Marko.
A hanging beat. We see a faint outline of Sue behind him.
Polo.
He spins, grabs her. Doom grips her neck, slamming her to the ground beside Reed. She lays there, beaten, visible. In the distance behind Doom, city lights blink, fading in and out. Lights flutter softly here, like when Ben went through the machine. Reed looks up. Could it be? Exterior East River night. Johnny jets over the water with the missile only 20 feet behind him. He's running out of options when he spots a garbage barge floating in the water ahead. Thinking fast, Johnny does a flyby and hurls a fireball at the barge. Whoosh. The flames ignite and spread quickly. He loops back towards the flaming barge as the missile closes in on him. 15 feet, 10, just as it's about to hit Johnny, flames off and falls towards the water. As he tumbles through the air, we cut back to interior Von Doom conference room night. From their vantage point, we see the missile explode. Flames dance. Sue's eyes darken as Doom grips her neck. Reed tries desperately to move, but he is frozen. It takes every last ounce of strength to lift one finger, which makes a cracking sound.
One more down. Now it's just the scientist and his specimen.
Sue and Reed lock eyes. Reed tries to move his mouth. He has something to tell her, struggling just to move his lips, and it gets to get the words out.
Sue, the only thing I ever knew without thinking was I love.
He starts to say you, but his lips freeze mid-word. Sue whispers to him.
To Reed.
Doom steps towards Sue, about to deliver the final blow.
And so 4 became none. It's my time now.
Boom! An elevator door flies into the room. Smash! This one's Ben.
Yeah, Ben. It's you. Actually, Vic.
Reed recognizes the voice, and so do we. Doom turns to see Ben Grimm, aka The Thing, back in Rocky fighting form.
It's clobbering time.
Doom turns just as BAM! Ben hits Doom harder than any living thing has ever been hit. The force sends Doom back through the air towards the far wall where he smashes into the massive V sculpture. It snaps, crashing into him. A few sparks, then nothing. Nothing at all. No more movement. Doom is dead. Ben turns to Reed.
Damn, I've been wanting to do that.
Reed manages the thinnest smile as Ben starts disconnecting the tubes from Reed.
Victor's not that bad, huh? Just a little larger than life. Maybe he'll listen to me next time before.
The wreckage shifts. They turn to see Doom emerges. He stands, power coursing, and he charges at Ben. Ben charges back, and the two behemoths slam into each other, crashing through glass into thin air. Exterior Von Doom building continuous. Doom and Ben plummet, wrestling in midair. On the ground, people scream and duck for cover. Doom and Ben smash through the large glass roof of the lower building across the street. Interior hotel. Indoor pool continuous. Boom! Doom and Ben, locked in combat, drop through the glass, landing in the large hotel pool. People scream and run. Interior hotel, indoor pool, night. Underwater, Doom and Ben land hard. Their combined weight cracks the floor of the pool. A young boy watches underwater through his mask. Doom and Ben square off, but the cracks open wider, and they're pulled towards the hole. Whoosh! The water is all sucked out of the hole. The boy holds tight to the ladder as Ben and Doom crash down to interior hotel hallway night. A hotel guest sees water flood into the hall. Roaring rapids head straight for him. He jams his key into the lock, turning desperately, just barely leaping out of the way as the wave carrying Ben and Doom smashes through a window to exterior hotel continuous. Smash! Ben and Doom fly out the window, thrashing in 10,000-gallon waterfall to exterior New York City street continuous. Crash! Water floods the street. Doom and Ben land in the large garbage truck. The trucks rock back and forth, denting from the inside. Grunts and growls. Crash! The truck suddenly stops. Cop cars speed closer, sirens screaming, and boom! A huge shape explodes from the truck. Smash! Ben lands on a car filled with two old ladies. His head cracks the windshield. Doom steps out of the garbage truck, water flooding the streets around him. Cop cars converge on Doom. Doom turns his attention to the cops. His limbs spark with electricity, ready to fire at the cops. Exterior, interior car continuous. Ben sees the cops and Doom. He knows the cops are dead meat. He turns to the old lady in the driver's seat.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can I borrow your car?
She nods and quickly gets out, shaking.
The clutch sticks a little.
Not gonna be a problem.
Ben lifts the car and throws it at Doom. Whoom! It flies through the air and wham! Hits hard, knocking Doom back 20 feet. As Doom flies back, a bus enters frame and exterior New York City street night. Boom! Doom smashes into the out-of-service bus. Crash! Windows shatter and the bus slams into an electricity pole, snapping the pole. Doom steps out unharmed. Ben charges towards him. Doom grabs the broken electricity pole, flips it into his hand, and wields the pole like a giant stun gun. Electricity sparks fly through the air into Ben. The blast of volts launch him off his feet. He goes flying backwards, electrocuted in mid-flight, and woof, Ben lands hard, face down, cratering the street. Water rushes into the crater. Ben lays there incapacitated. Exterior New York City streets, same time. On the street, cars scream to a stop. People gasp. Doom strides up to Ben and raises the electricity pole for the death blow. Currents surge right before he swings down.
I can't let you do that.
Simple, strong. Doom turns to see Reed. Alone, bruised and battered, slowly stepping towards him. Doom smiles. Travis.
I'm going to be smiling. Yes, I'm going to smile right now and say, I'm going to say, I can't let you do that. No, and you can't stop me.
There you go. And he turns back to Ben, raises the pole, but can't swing down. Something is holding the pole in midair. Something invisible.
Hello, Susan.
She turns visible, holding back the pole with a force field. Using her power, she flings the pole from Doom's grip. It skids along the street. Reed helps Ben to his feet. Doom turns to these three wounded soldiers.
What is this, the Pitfall 3?
Doom steps towards them, but
4.
whoosh! Johnny swoops down, hurling a fireball like a flamethrower, knocking Doom back. Johnny takes his place alongside the others. The 4 of them stand as one. Johnny turns to Thing.
Had a little relapse, huh?
Thing starts to retort, but Johnny gives a warm smile.
Welcome back.
They turn to Doom, who stands with metal skin slightly singed and melted, making him look all the more menacing.
This is going to be fun.
Electricity starts to course through his body. He stands at the foot of the crater Ben made. He thrusts down, grabbing a thick power cable, ripping it out of the street. He snacks the cable into 2 snaking, lashing strips. He holds tight, absorbing the power. Lights flicker and dim in the buildings around him. Windows blow. Doom glows, amped up. He lets go of the cables. The 2 deadly wires snake out of control. Pedestrians scatter, panic. Reed sees the wires slashing through the air. He makes a move. Reed stretches his arms, reaching for the deadly cables. Doom fires powered energy bolts. The electric charges surge through the air towards the Fantastic Four, but Sue tosses her force field, exploding Doom's blast in mid-flight. She keeps her hands up, blocking blows like prized fighter. One of the Doom's bolts glances off her force field and smashes into a concrete stanchion of a building. The pillar starts to crumble, with people huddled under the overhang. They're about to be crushed by the falling concrete, but suddenly the concrete roof holds steady because Ben is holding it up. He stands behind the stanchion just like Atlas holding the world. People run out safely. On the street, Reed finally grabs both ends of the wire.
Johnny, spot weld.
Johnny flies towards him and uses his flame to weld the wires back together. Sparks fly. The cables start to fuse. Doom keeps firing. Sue struggles with her force fields. The impact is too much. Her nose starts to bleed.
Can't hold on.
Doom smiles. Reed sees her. She is about to drop her hands, vulnerable, but Reed stretches his whole body. He expands himself around the street and grabs a tree so he forms a wall between Sue and Doom. Doom keeps firing his bolts. They slam into Reed's body, rubber band his skin and distended out his back without breaking. He strains, agonizing.
Johnny, supernova.
But all these people.
Now.
Johnny starts towards Doom, flames in his body starting to build to a blinding white intensity, engulfing everything. Johnny grabs Doom.
Flame on, kid.
Flash. Johnny explodes in a pulse of bright white light, which starts to heat up everything surrounding it. Reed doesn't miss a beat. He's in total command now.
Sue, I need some of that anger, rage, frustration.
I'm sure I can come up with something.
She concentrates. She sees Johnny holding onto Doom and the glowing heat and light. Sue shuts her eyes. A giant force field explodes from her body, a massive wave of energy. It swoops past a car, which warps and melts. Half the car is not inside the force field. Thing turns to the crowd, extending his arm, blocking them. Sue's force field envelops Johnny's supernova, containing it in a bright sphere of energy. The light increases to a point that it's blinding. People look away. Finally, Johnny's supernova fades. He collapses to the ground, exhausted and smoking. Sue exhales and falls to her knees. Her force field fades. The lights flicker out. As everyone's eyes adjust, we hear thud, thud, and Doom steps through the smoke, unharmed. His metallic body glows white, trailing molten metal. Sue and Ben, Johnny looking devastated. They can't beat him. He looks at Reed.
Is that the best you can do? A little heat?
Reed stays perfectly calm. He shakes his head.
Time for your lesson, Vic. Chem 101. What happens when you super cool hot metal? Ben?
Got it, Teach.
He kicks open the fire hydrant. The water geyser's up. Ben kicks down with his foot, deflecting the water so it sprays towards Reed, who twists his torso so the water curls around his chest and races down his arms and shoots right off his wrist towards Doom.
Ew.
Doom rushes towards Reed, but the water flies out, dousing Doom. Giant clouds of steam fill the air with the cooling metal. Doom screams. His shrieks finally fade to silence. The water stops. Thick steam clouds roll, completely obscuring Doom from view. A beat. The steam clears to reveal Doom. A true statue now. A hard, cold, solid piece of metal. Frozen forever. Reed, Sue, Ben, and Johnny, the Fantastic Four, exhale. They stand as one in rolling smoke. A beat.
Damn, I love this job.
Reed and Sue slowly lock eyes, thinking the same thing.
Job, huh?
Will they accept their mantle? Reed shrugs.
Well, we do have the suits.
They give weary smiles. A team. Sue gets close to Reed.
You know, about what we set up there. I think maybe.
He kisses her, his neck extending, strong, powerful. He pulls back slightly, smiles at her, a new strength in him.
Funny how things turn out, isn't it?
Sue looks at Reed, a long way from the conference room.
Hilarious.
As they kiss, people emerge, stepping out of hiding. The sun rises around them. The Fantastic Four step into a new dawn of a new day, and we slowly dissolve to interior circle line boat, banquet room, dusk. Reed and Sue kiss on the deck of the circle line as it chugs around New York City.
Dude, it's still my sister.
A party in progress, drinks, food, music. We see in the crowd of familiar faces, O'Houlihan cast in his arm, bartender Ernie, and others. Johnny and Ben stand behind Reed and Sue. Reed and Sue pull apart. Reed turns to Ben, excited.
Ben, I've been crunching the numbers on the machine. I think if we can rework the power settings.
Forget it, egghead. It's good as it is.
That's my Benny.
She hands Ben a big metal mug. Ben takes the mug. He clinks but shatters her glass.
We're going to have to work on your touch.
I like the sound of that.
Alicia gets close, a soft smile. Reed turns to Sue.
Sue, can I talk to you for a second?
Reed leads her out. Ben and Johnny swap a glance. Exterior circle line boat deck, dusk. A romantic view of the cityscape. Reed stands with Sue.
I found a broken gasket from space.
A gasket. Reed, we're at a party.
He opens his hand, revealing a circular piece of metal just about the size of a ring. Sue slows down.
If one of us were to wear it,
She sees Johnny and Ben inside watching in on a secret. Reed looks her square in the eye, unflinching.
Reed, what are you doing?
Reed drops to his knees. His head stays eye level while his body drops. Sue gapes, so emotional she starts to disappear.
no more thinking, no more variables. Sue Storm, will you? Sue? Sue, you there?
Dead silence, and then the ring disappears. Sue is wearing it.
Yes.
Reed goes to kiss her.
That's my nose, genius. These are my lips.
Reed's face is squeezed on both sides of Sue's invisible hands. She pulls him into a kiss and reappears. Inside, the party applauds. Ben, Johnny, and Alicia move through the crowd to join Reed and Sue as they go.
No more cracks about how I look.
Hey, I'm Mr. Sensitivity now. The other way, wide load coming through. Everybody move. He's huge.
Ben glares, fists clench. Johnny smiles mischievous as they hit the balcony, and he flames on, taking off into the air, blazing the number 4 enclosed in a circle of flame, their future call sign, over the city skyline. The crowd oohs and ahs. Ben watches unimpressed.
Show off.
People drink, laugh, dance. We slowly pull back from the party, the boat, the city, and cut to exterior harbor day. Close on, the melted face of doom. He is placed in a wooden crate. Leonard oversees the operation, listening to his cell. As 2 workers move the heavy door in place, a crackle of electricity moves over Doom's body. Leonard's cell phone goes staticky, his eyes narrow. Could it be? And slam! The door closes. We can read the destination through stenciled lettering. Latveria. We pull back to reveal the box is on the deck of a freighter ship. Isn't it just freight ship? I don't know. The ship pulls back, steaming into the horizon as we fade out. The end.
At least until a Silver Surfer rises at some point. But thank you all so much for joining us for this reading. It's been a ton of fun, and we'll see you at the next one.